welcome everybody. We're happy you're with us. We apologize for an extended delay before coming on the air. I'm not in the excuse-making business. I'll just take responsibility and say we're glad you are with us. I want to thank Oliver Fell, the voice of Hardhats TV, for his assistance. Mike Fell with you live from Joe Pert's Field in Billings, Montana. We bring you action in game one of our doubleheader as we bring you 4 games in the next 24 hours as the Hardhats are taking on the Billings Scarlets in game one of our doubleheader. Then we will bring you game 2 about 20 minutes following, and that'll be the Billings Royals against your 3-3 Rapid City Post 22 Hardhats. We're happy you're with us this evening, and we again apologize for the delay in getting on the air. We always set up well ahead of time, but we did not have that opportunity as there was a game before this one, and then the wind came upon us and we had some technical challenges, but we are back and we are with you and we are happy to have you along with us. This is the first of a 4-game showcase here on Hardhats TV. Hardhats trailing 2-1. I was so immersed in trying to get us on the air. I don't even have a starting lineup. I don't even have have any knowledge of how the score came to 2-1. I've just had laser focus on getting you a broadcast. And so we probably have some gaps between the next half inning or two as I try to assemble a lineup and then a scorecard and then give you the information. Right now, Aaron Roach is up to bat. We are in the top of the 4th inning. Hardhats trailing 2-1. They've been out hit 4-2. Scarlets have committed a pair of errors, and we are happy just to have baseball for you here on Hardhats TV. We have very high wind coming your way and coming to our direct position. We are outside, as was the case a year ago here on Hardhats TV, and I'm sure in previous trips. It's a wonderful ballpark. We're right across the street from Rimrock Mall, and there's a ball hit by Philip Bentz back to the pitcher. He races to the bag to retire the side, and we are through 3.5 innings here at Joe Pert's Field in Rapid City. Hardhats trailing 2-1. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to keep it right here, and I'm going to get some lineups, and then we'll get you those lineups and get you up to date in this ball game. Again, we appreciate your patience. We are on with you. We had some technical connection issues. Lee Negebauer is on the mound pitching a solid game, and we're dealing with some very high wind at the moment, and I'm not sure I should even go and get the lineups, because if I get the lineups, this equipment might blow away. We are outside here at Joe Pert's Field, 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts here at the magic city of Billings, Montana, and I'm going to do my best to anchor my equipment and then get you some lineups. You're watching Hardhats TV. Mike Fell with you, filling in for Oliver Fell. Live from Billings, Montana. Game 1 of a doubleheader. Scarlets of Billings leading Post 22 2-1. You're watching Hardhats TV. And we're back, everybody. We're happy you're along with us. Score 2-1 in favor of the Billings Scarlets. We now have lineups, and we will get things more and more caught up. We have our equipment anchored. We have a picture, and we sure appreciate all of you tuning in. Again, Hardhats trailing 2-1. Ball hit deep into left field, caught by the Hardhats left fielder. Making the catch out there in left field for post 22 is Tate Crossway. This wind is unbelievable. I am putting my hand on every single thing I can to keep this equipment from blowing away. We hope we can keep our broadcasts coming your way, folks. We're doing our best. This is Montana. This is big sky country. Bigger the sky, I guess, the bigger the wind. Lee Negebauer right now facing the leadoff hitter, the second time through the order for the Billings Scarlets. That's Nolan Berkram. That falls behind in the count 1-2. Here comes the next pitch from Lee Negebauer, and that ball is fouled away, and the count stays at 1-2 strikes. Happy you're with us? Extremely high windy conditions. What's crazy is if you look out to center field and look at the flagpole, it doesn't look windy out there at all. But here where we're situated behind home plate, it is like gale force winds as we're trying to just keep our equipment anchored for you, all of you to enjoy the broadcast. Berkram lifts the ball into left field. That's going to drop for a base hit. And we have 1 on and 2 out now with Lee Negebauer getting ready to face Chase Wise. And now here comes a visit from Kelvin Twervey. Not sure if we're going to have a pitching change. Yes, we are. So Lee Negebauer's day comes to an end. Some Hardhat fans who made the trip here, give a round of applause for Lee Negebauer. And Lee, the pride of St. Thomas More High School, pitched a very good game as he limits the Scarlets to 4 hits in 3 2/3 innings of work. And we'll now go to a pitching change. And we'll see who the new pitcher is for the Hardhats. The pitcher for the Hardhats is Rowan Fredrickson. This is Rowan's 3rd appearance.
Now pitching for Rapid City, number 24, Rowan Fredrickson.
And here comes Rowan Fredrickson firing his warm-up pitches. Scarlets with the man on in the person of Nolan Berkram. And Rowan Fredrickson, he pitched well in Gillette on Wednesday night. He had a really tough outing down in Cheyenne last Sunday afternoon in game 1 of that doubleheader. And we'll see what the Hardhats are able to generate here. We hope you're seeing a clear picture. Our mechanism that we have, that we depend on, to kind of let us know what the picture is streaming like, seems to indicate that everything is on and connected, but we don't see things in a very fluid picture. But our regular frame says we're doing fine. Trying to get back to that regular frame, and we have. Oh, here we go. Ball is hit and handled, and that's out number 3. So we have played 4 innings of action. It's a 2-1 ball game, very exciting game, and suddenly the wind subsides, which is my chance to stop talking and fill out my lineup card and scorebook, so you have a much better broadcast for these next 3 innings. It's been a challenge, but we're glad you're all with us on Hardhats TV. The Billings Scarlets lead 2-1 as we go to the top of the 5th inning. Hardhats trailing by just 1. This is Hardhats TV.
Leading off for Rapid City, number 13, Ryan Neugebauer.
Ryan Neugebauer leads things off here as the wind again fires up into full gust mode. We lead off the 5th inning. Here comes the pitch to Ryan Neugebauer. That's high for ball 1. Ryan Neugebauer representing the tying run in this ball game for the Hardhats as we lead things off here in the 5th inning. Mike Fell with you, filling in for Oliver Fell. Oliver is in Rapid City, so he is going to be on the air Tuesday night. There's a grounder to second, throw to first in time, and that will retire Ryan Neugebauer.
Wilson Kiefer.
Now Wilson Kiefer, a.k.a. Willie Kiefer, the shortstop, comes up to bat. Kiefer, the number 9 hitter, hits the ball into right field for a base hit, and the tying run is aboard here in the top of the 5th inning for the Hardhats.
Back to the top of the order.
Good hit right there
Roberts.
by Ryan Neugebauer. So 1 on, 1 out, and here comes the top of the order for post 22, Aiden Roberts. AR coming up in a clutch spot for the Hardhats, trying to get above 500 on the season. Playing 2 games tonight and 2 games tomorrow morning and early afternoon. There's a pitch over for a strike. Aiden Roberts hitting here in the top of the 5th. We're broadcasting live from the Magic City, Billings, Montana. We'll fill you in on who's pitching and who's playing the field where as we go along here. Again, we apologize for what was about a 45-minute delay getting on the air. A combination of high winds, a picture problem, and then somewhere along the way we lost some connectivity. But we are with you, and we're happy to have you along with us on a Saturday night of baseball from Montana. Ball dribbled to the left. Throw to second is in time, and great play there by Willie Kiefer to take the double play away. That's how you take out a double play throw right there. The umpires are talking things over, and this could be trouble. I thought that's how you take out a double play throw, but they might call it a double play, and they do. They said that was an illegal takeout, so they call the runner out at first, and that will do it for the Hardhats. So what seemed to be a very aggressive play at second base by Willie Kiefer results in a out at not only second on the force, but on the first base by the rule. And Willie wanted an explanation. The first base coach for post 22 is stating his case vehemently, but it's to no avail. And now Rowan Fredrickson comes out for the bottom of the 5th inning with the Hardhats trailing 2-1. Want to thank all of you fans for chatting with us, checking in, and again, our apologies. We simply are not. We don't have a crew. You have a crew of one, and it's yours truly. And sometimes it really works, and sometimes there's a battle. And we had a battle tonight. Appreciate your patience being with us. Oliver will not only be with you Tuesday night, he'll have the scoreboard graphic going, so you'll know what the score is at all times. Hope you appreciate my efforts these first few weeks of the season, as I do my best to bring you what many would call a more old school traditional broadcast here on Hardhats TV. It's the way I was raised as a baseball fan and announcer, and here we go. So Rowan Fredrickson now to face the leadoff hitter for Billings. Been a very fast-moving game. We started at 5:04 local time. It's now 6:03, and what do you know? We're in the bottom of the fifth inning already. Kyler Northrup is the leadoff hitter. Northrup's committed to Washington State University, we understand. This is a D1 Power 5 player. Now, I know Washington State's being left behind in the Power 5, but there's some talk maybe they'll get in the newly expanded, soon to be expanded Big 12. So the Cougs from the Palouse and Eastern Washington, Pullman, Washington, they may not be relegated to minor college status. There's a fly ball to center, and it's caught for out number one. Good catch made out there in center field for the Hardhats. Making the catch in center is Carter Johnson. Carter's been a great addition to the Hardhats this season. Now we go to the next hitter in the lineup, Hunter Doyle. Hunter Doyle hits a grounder behind the bag for foul ball, and that moves the count to 0-1. Hunter Doyle, not too different than Harry Doyle, lead character in one of my favorite movies, 1971 Academy Award winning film, The French Connection. There's a ball hit right past Ryan Negebauer. Then it goes past the right fielder, and going into second base on what could be considered a pair of errors is Hunter Doyle. So Hunter Doyle able to hit the ball right into the wickets with a sinking hop past Ryan Negebauer at second, and then the ball goes through the right fielder's glove on a hard roll. Playing right field for the Hardhats in this ball game is Aaron Roach, and again it was Ryan Negebauer at second that had troubles with that. That will be scored one error. We'll score the error on Negebauer because it went through him first. Actually, it's going to be a hit and an error. They're going to call the error on Roach in right field, and they're going to give Doyle a single. So that's the way it's officially scored. Scarlets now with 5 hits, Hardhats with 2. Rowan Fredrickson working here in the second inning of duty, and he's going to stop and tie his right shoe. See if this helps. Sometimes tying your shoes matters a lot. The late great John Wooden from UCLA basketball used to spend minutes every practice teaching his players how to tie their sneakers. Here comes a pitch, ball drilled up the middle, handled by Negebauer, throw to first in time. Wow! Did Ryan Negebauer go deep into the proverbial hole to make that play and retire the second out of the inning, and that now sets things up where the Hardhats could get out of trouble as Hunter Doyle is at third base. Now coming up to bat for the Billings Scarlets with 2 out and a man at third is Mason Crusoe, that ball hit up the middle. Kiefer's got it, throws the first to retire the side. Rowan Fredrickson doing a marvelous job in relief of Lee Negebauer, backed up with great defense by that marvelous middle infield combination of Ryan Negebauer and Willis Kiefer. And just like that, the Hardhats find a way, with Wilson doing a great job at short to get that last out. Ryan Negebauer doing an amazing job to get that second out. And on an extremely windy night, as the papers are going all over, oh man, folks, this is why you like a press box when you're inside one. Wow. We go to the 6th inning. Scarlets 2, Hardhats 1. The Scarlets in the bottom of the 5th inning did not score. They had one hit. As I mentioned, there were no runs. There was one error, but it was not a costly one thanks to the infield defense of combination of Negebauer and Kiefer. And we go to the 6th inning, the Hardhats trailing by 1 run on an extremely windy night for baseball. And let's give a shout out to Igor. He's watching tonight, saying go Hardhats from Ontario, and good luck to those Toronto Maple Leafs. They're playing Game 7 tonight against the Boston Bruins. Go Maple Leafs. Okay, here we go. We lead things off. Hardhats will send here in the 6th inning to the plate. They will send Carter Johnson, Tate Crossweight, and Alex Dietrich. If anybody gets on base, Hayden Hollick will step to the plate. Hardhats hanging tough, playing some great defense, really flashing the leather. Here comes the pitch from Billings Scarlets, and that's strike 3. What a marvelous curveball that was. Right there for the Billings Scarlets. One of the top Legion programs in the region. And now here comes left-handed hitter Tate Crossweight. See if we can't get the name of this great pitcher for Billings. It's Drew McDowell who has made that great pitch and who has kept the Hardhats to just 1 run and only 2 hits through 5 innings, 5 1/3 innings of work. Here comes Tate Crossweight. A chance to say hi to his father, Chris, before the game. But check that. I forgot Tate's father's name. My apologies. Here comes the pitch, and wow, the wind just about blew our laptop off the table. Mercy. It's a good thing I have a check down to all kinds of rated G and PG expletive words, and I do not check into PG-13 and more advanced rated expletives. There's a pitch left of the zone. Count now goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes. Tate Crossweight trying to get on base. He represents the tying run. Wind is definitely blowing in, and that pitch paints the corner for the 2nd strikeout here in the 6th inning. And McDowell is just putting on a clinic as Alex Dietrich steps into the batter's box. And Alex represents the tying run for the Hardhats here in the top of the 6th. There's a pitch outside for a ball. Alex Dietrich batting clean up for post 22, waits for the pitch from McDowell, and that pitch is over for a strike. McDowell just absolutely carving up the Hardhats through most of this game. Here comes the pitch, that sinks out of the zone, and the count now squares at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Drew McDowell trying to go the distance and get the victory, leading 2-1 here in the top of the 6th. Scarlets have the Hardhats down to their final 4 outs here in the first half of this Saturday night doubleheader. Now here comes the next pitch, and that's outside. And the count now, and that will be a walk. And the tying run is at the plate.
Post 22, number 20, Hayden.
And here comes Hayden Howick. Now, if anybody could lift the ball out of Joe Pert's field, which has a very high fence, I might add, on a windy night, it might be Hayden Howick, the designated hitter. There's a pitch. Howick swings and misses. Hayden Howick for the Hardhats. Off to a solid start. He's batting fifth in the lineup, and there's a pitch that gets over with a swing and a miss. Count now 0-2. Howick trying to stay alive at first base. It's Alex Dietrich, who just reached on a walk. Here's the pitch from McDowell. It's high and outside. Count goes to 1-2. Fans really being challenged by the wind. Wow, it is so windy. We just say a prayer for us here at Hardhats TV that we don't blow away and our equipment doesn't blow away either. I have two hands on the laptop and I am just battening down the hatches. Wow. Welcome to the Magic City, Billings, Montana, where they do have a Costco. There's a high pitch, it's outside, it gets away from the catcher, and Dietrich runs into scoring position at second base. Count is at 1-2 strikes. Hayden Howick is the batter. A base hit could tie this ball game here at Joe Pert's Field in Billings. Here comes a pitch from McDowell, and that'll strike three. And Alex McDowell strikes out the side for the Billings Scarlets in the top half of the sixth inning. We have played 5.5 here in windy Billings, Montana. It's the Scarlets 2 and the Hardhats 1. This is a wind-blown Hardhats TV.
All right, get your 50-50 tickets out.
I have made an executive decision not to keep a scorebook the rest of this game. We will just use the smartphone and put two hands at all times on the laptop.
50-50 if you have that ticket.
Wow.
Bring it to the announcer's booth.
I know I've broadcast in windier games in my sportscasting years, but I have not been outside and had it be this windy. Cody Collis will lead off for the Scarlets. Cody Collis, the right fielder for Billings, is the number 7 hitter in the lineup, and he puts up a bunt, throw down to first in time. Philip Bentz does a great job to get on top of that ball and make a solid throw down to first as Alex Dietrich had his foot on the bag and made the play. So 1 up, 1 down here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Right-handed hitter in the number 8 spot is Michael Brew. Here comes a pitch from Fredrickson. That's a swing and a miss. How about Rowan Fredrickson? He has done a great job on this windy night. I think the wind now is somewhere around 50 miles per hour. Coming right at us. And I mean right at us. You can hear the flapping behind me. So far, and I'm glad we have a solid tripod, I'll tell you that. You really need a solid tripod on a night like tonight. Here comes a throw, and that is just off the plate. It counts 1-2. The Hardhat fans in the dugout wanted that one big time. Here comes the 1-2 pitch from Fredrickson, and that's high for a ball, and the count goes to 2-2. Michael Brew, the batter. Scarlets leading 2-1. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning in the 7-inning ball game. Here comes a pitch. Brew drills it foul. The wind probably took a dangerous hit down the line and just pushed it into not only foul territory, but completely out of play. That's how strong this wind is, blowing in from center field and right field. There's a pitch and a swing and a miss. Rowan Fredrickson, absolutely blossoming. When you go back from last Sunday to tonight and look at how he pitched against Gillette in some tough conditions against a 15-1 Rough Riders ball club, you have to appreciate what Rowan is doing out of the bullpen in relief of Lee Negebauer. And there's a hit by pitch, and nobody better get mad at Rowan. I think the wind just pushed that pitch into the batter. That's the factor that the wind is right now. If you pitch inside, the wind is likely going to push that ball right into the hitter if they're batting from the right side. Now coming up to bat, the Billings Scarlet number 9 hitter. And that's Cade Vanstall. There's a throw to Alex Dietrich on a pickoff attempt. Michael Brew gets back. Hardhats in the bottom of the 6th inning. Trailing 2-1, trying to keep it 2-1. Hoping to make a rally against Alex McDowell in the 1st inning. And there's a throw from Bentz down to Dietrich on a outside pitch, and that reverse tag by Dietrich was not in time. Good job there by Michael Brew to scurry back and recognize what was happening right in front of him. Here comes the pitch from Rowan Fredrickson, the right-hander for the Hardhats. Fredrickson fires, ball chopped to third base and foul. Again, the wind pushed that ball out of play. That would have been likely
to the Billings Scarlets.
A ground out to Roberts, but instead the wind keeps this at-bat going with 2 balls and 1 strike, or rather 1 ball, 1 strike. Here comes the pitch to Vanderzal. Fredrickson gets it signed from Phillip. Pitches high. That's ball 2. Want to give a shout out to Hardhats general manager Wayne Sullivan. Hope you're doing good, Coach. Also want to give a shout out to Darren Good if you're out there. I was talking with one of the parents, and he said, "I'm just trying to be like Darren Good." And I said, well, if you can be 3/4 as good as Darren Good, you're doing great. Count now 2-2 as Rowan Fredrickson's pitch is outside. Here comes the 2-2 pitch with a man at first and 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Here comes a pitch. Ball is lifted to right field. Roach has it, and he makes the catch to retire the side, and Rowan Fredrickson gets it done again. 2 2/3 of great relief work gives the Hardhats a fighting chance as we go into the top of the 7th inning. For the Hardhats, they will send the bottom of the order to the plate. Aaron Roach, Phillip Bentz, and Ryan Negebauer will come up to bat. And if anyone gets on base, Wilson Kiefer will come to the bat in the top of the 7th inning. Scarlets 2, Hardhats 1. On an extremely windy night here at Joe Pertz Field, do the Hardhats have a rally to force a tie? 1 run will keep this game going. 2 runs will give the Hardhats their first lead of the ball game. They have trailed throughout. The Scarlets scored 1 run in the first, 1 in the second, then the Hardhats scored a run in the third. all of those runs scored while yours truly was struggling to establish this broadcast connection. All's well that gets us where we want to go, and here we go. Hardhats come to bat. Here comes Aaron Roach from St. Thomas More. Here comes a pitch. That is low and inside for a ball. It's hard to pitch tonight. Alex McDowell trying to go the distance for the Scarlets as Roach hits the ball out of play. Stay tuned after this game. The Hardhats will take on the Royals. Drew McDowell, the pitcher, fires a strike, and the count goes to 1-2. Hardhats would love to get the leadoff man aboard here in the person of Aaron Roach. Here comes the pitch to Roach, and Roach keeps it alive as he fouls the ball towards the parking lot above the Scarlets dugout. Count stays at 1-2. Here comes the pitch from McDowell, and that's high and away, and the count goes to 2-2. Aaron Roach hanging tough. Drew McDowell, who has pitched a masterpiece through 6 innings, pitches a strike 3, and he gets Roach to take the bait on a pitch high and outside of the zone. So one man down. The Hardhats are down to their final 2 outs. And Phillip Bentz is up to bat. Now remember, Phillip Bentz hit a home run against the Scarlets right here after dark a year ago. Wouldn't this be an incredible spot for a Phillip Bentz home run tonight? First pitch is fouled away. Count 0-1. Here comes the pitch to Phillip, and he hits the ball to second. It's a slow roller. It's botched by the second baseman, and Bentz is on board. Wow. An error committed by the second baseman for the Scarlets. That is the
Next up, number 13, Ryan Neubauer.
3rd error in this game. Drew McDowell's been pitching a masterpiece, but he hasn't been helped out much by his defense, that's for sure. Committing the error there was Michael Brew. Now coming up to bat, it's Ryan Neubauer. Oh, thank you. I saw 2, and I thought that meant second base. You're right, that's catcher. Chase Weiss with the error a moment ago. Now here comes the pitch to Neubauer. And taking off is Phillip Bentz. Throw down to second, not in time. And the Hardhats have the tying man on board at second base. Phillip Bentz is leading off second base. McDowell fires home. Ball lifted to right field, and it should be caught. It is. And that's the 2nd out of the 7th inning. Making the grab there was Cody Collis.
Number 15.
I got that right.
Kiefer.
Cody Collis made the catch in right field for the Scarlets. Now here comes Wilson Kiefer, batting in the number 9 spot in the lineup. The tying run is at second base in the person of Phillip Bentz. Can Drew McDowell complete a complete game masterpiece here? He's 1 out away from going the distance for the Scarlets. Check that. Just realized it's actually Coulter Wilson on in relief for Drew McDowell, who got the start. Glad we got that clarification. So Coulter Wilson facing Wilson Kiefer with a game on the line. 1 ball, 1 strike. We're in the 7th inning. Here comes a pitch. It's fouled back to the screen, and the count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Hardhats down to their final strike in game 1 of this doubleheader, trailing 2-1. On in relief, trying to get the save is Coulter. Here comes the pitch. Ball hit hard to left field, and it is playable at the warning track, and it's caught, and that'll end the ball game. The Billings Scarlets win 2-1 over the post 22 Hardhats. The Hardhats lost a 1-run ball game. It was a pitcher's duel. It was an extremely windy ball game, and we will keep it right here. We will not disconnect anything or try to reconnect in any way. And we will have the lineups for you for the Hardhats and the Royals. We think the Billings Royals are here. Haven't seen any of the Royals, but I do see a Royals player coming from the batting cage area beyond the right field wall. So we will see what we are going to have, and it seems as though we might have a long gap between these two games because I'm not sure all the Royals are here yet. I think the Hardhats Scarlets game, won by the Scarlets 2-1, which was completed in seemingly record time. It was just an hour 20 minutes. So I don't know if we're about ready to have the Hardhats and the Royals. We may be waiting quite a while because I'm not sure the Royals bus or the Royals players, they didn't have to get on a bus to get here because they're in Billings. But I'm not sure the Royals are here yet. So we will keep you updated, keep you posted, but most games go about 2 hours in length, and this game was over in just 80 minutes. And as a result, we may have a long gap between the Hardhats Scarlets game and the Hardhats Royals game coming up next here as part of our nighttime doubleheader. Again, want to apologize. At the beginning of this game, we missed the first 3.5 innings, unfortunately, due to issues involving connection, whether we had a picture or not, the wind, and I want to thank Oliver Fell. He was my phone-a-friend. He was my lifeline. I made a phone call, and he helped get us reset with the software to get connected, and we were able to bring you the final 3.5 innings of action. So you saw the second half of the first game. You did not see the first half of this game, and we apologize. Final score, the Billings Scarlets win 2-1 over your post 22 Hardhats. The winning pitcher was Drew McDowell. The losing pitcher was Lee Negebauer, a very tough luck losing pitcher, as Lee went 4 1/3 in innings and did a fine job keeping the Scarlets to just 2 runs. And then the save goes to Coulter Wilson, who was magnificent, coming in the 4th inning, in the 5th inning. So that's the official lay of the land. The Hardhats dropped to a record of 3-4. Hardhats want to avoid being swept on a Saturday night and falling to 3-5. Last year, the Hardhats, if you remember, they were swept by the Royals in game 1 of a Saturday night doubleheader here, and then they lost a extra inning game, a 1-run 7-6 ball game to the Scarlets in the second game of the doubleheader that was played on that Saturday night. And now the Hardhats will take on the Royals, and I've got some good news. The Royals are here. they just came in, literally stage left. They came in from left field. I expected them to be underneath the first Montana title batting center in right field, but they must have just arrived. But they are here, and they are in uniform. And the Hardhats are going to leave the dugout that they were occupying and walk over to the dugout that the Scarlets were occupying as the wind gets into full mode. So we may be closer to first pitch than we originally expected. We'll get you the lineups for these two teams when they become available. The Hardhats taking on the Billings Royals. Royals uniforms with pinstripes. That's a bit of a, throws you off if you grow up in Omaha like I did, and you grew up watching the Omaha Royals AAA ball club and then the Kansas City Royals parent club in those George Brett years. And the Hardhats in their road gray jerseys with the red helmets, red shoes, and Rapid City in cursive across the front. They will switch dugouts, and I think the fans are going to pick up and they're going to move over as well to the other side of the field here. So the Hardhats, maybe a change of dugouts will be good. I just heard a Hardhats fan say it's good to move around. The fans for the Scarlets that were giving me a hard time. I don't know why they had to be so mean-spirited. They have left happy as the Scarlets win 2-1. And glad to have all of you with us here on Hardhats TV. Mike Fell with you, filling in for Oliver Fell. Oliver will be with you coming up on Tuesday night for the Hardhats game against 320 from Pete Lean Field. And then the Hardhats will be hosting Watertown next weekend at Fitzgerald Stadium. Make sure and get your tickets when you can. I'm going to go ahead and kind of check in on a few things here. We're between games, post 22, losing a tough one at the hands of the Billings Scarlets 2-1. The Scarlets, by the way, defeated the Missoula, Montana Mavericks in the game played before this game. That was, by the way, a real factor in why we had the delay of coming online with you. We needed the Missoula broadcaster, who was a great gentleman, a super guy, to vacate his broadcast position before we could start to set up. And if everything had gone exactly according to plan, we still would have probably missed half an inning. But we had our issues, but we worked through them, and here we go. We're going to bring you the entire game coming up with the Billings Royals and the Hardhats in its entirety. And we're happy to have you with us on a Saturday night. I want to mention, we do know who the starting pitcher will be for the Hardhats in Game 2 of this doubleheader. It'll be Eli Kelly, EK, who pitched very well in the 4 innings of work last Sunday afternoon in that split doubleheader against the Cheyenne Post 6 Sixers. And the Hardhats will need Eli Kelly's best. We know that this Billings Royals team's the real deal because they swept the Hardhats last year on Saturday night and then again on Sunday morning in games we had for you a year ago on Hardhats TV. So the Royals will play the Hardhats tonight. Then tomorrow morning will come your way at about 9:45 with an extended pregame show, we hope. It'll be the Hardhats taking on the Scarlets again. And then the Hardhats will finish out their 4-game showcase here in the Magic City of Billings, taking on Missoula in Game 2 of the doubleheader that will come your way about 20 minutes after the conclusion of the Hardhats and the Scarlets. I'm sure the Hardhats will really relish that chance tomorrow morning on a Sunday morning to come out and try to take a split from the Scarlets, who, behind outstanding pitching from McDowell and Coulter, were able to win 2-1 against Post 22. The wind, I dare say, has subsided a bit. We do not have that full-on blast that we had earlier, and as soon as I say that, the wind picks up again. But I do think we're going to, as the sun begins to set, experience perhaps an abatement in the wind level or the wind gusts. Usually the wind does not pick up in this part of the state of Montana towards sunset. It's really in the heat of the day, which we had during the Hardhats Scarlets game, that you tend to see the most wind activity. Well, we're glad you're with us, and I'm going to take a brief break and round up the lineup cards and come back with the starting lineups. The Hardhats taking on the Billings Royals. You're watching Hardhats TV. All right, we are back, getting closer and closer to first pitch. The Hardhats against the Billings Royals. The Hardhats are 3-4, trying to get a split of this Saturday night doubleheader. Hardhats last year came to Billings with a 3-3 record, and they went 1-3 here in Billings. This will be the last trip that the Hardhats will make to Billings, because the state of Montana has sanctioned high school baseball, and with their arrangements, it will essentially put an end to the Legion program as they know it here in Montana. So as a result, Coach Torvey told me last weekend This will be the last trip to Billings, and this is Coach Torby's favorite trip. And why not? This is the magic city of Billings. And on the way here, you get to take Interstate 90, and you can actually see the Bighorn Mountains and all of their glory and their beauty. I am so spoiled. I drive over the Bighorns all the time. I saw 9 moose last night driving over the Bighorn Mountains. It was the most moose I have seen in my life in any drive. I saw 9 moose and a silver fox last night at about this time of night, around sunset. And it was awesome. Moose are so amazing, and to see that many, um, and you know, I saw more moose than I did motorists. I think I saw about 5 cars going over the Bighorns, but I saw 9 moose. That's a 9-to-5 moose to people ratio. I love the Bighorn mountain range. I tell people the Bighorns are the most underrated mountain range in America because they're so beautiful, and so few people live in northern Wyoming that essentially they are a well-preserved mountain range without people living in those mountains. And so there you go, except with the exception of the Antelope Butte Ski Resort and the snowmobiling that happens in different spots in the Bighorns. You don't have a lot of recreational activity. It's just absolute beauty of God's creation, the Bighorn Mountains. And so Coach Torby, he loves to see the Bighorns and just drive along the foothills and check them out. And he's going to miss this road trip. He told me that last week. And this is also, and Coach Torby and I talked about this last week, this is also a great environment because great place for the Hardhats to go early in the season because they face great competition. The Scarlets and the Royals and the Missoula Mavericks, these are great Legion teams, and so the Hardhats get to play against really tough opponents. Missoula, by the way, they will be um, coming for the 21st year in a row, I think, to the Firecracker tournament in July. So that'll be pretty awesome. We'll see. We may see Missoula at the Firecracker, or they may just come and not wind up playing the Hardhats, depending on how the brackets turn out. But anyway, we'll see the Missoula Mavericks tomorrow. Missoula lost 11-6 to the Billings Scarlets earlier today here at Joe Pertz Field in Billings, and then the Hardhats lost 2-1. Hardhats starting to be frustrated with one-run losses. The Hardhats lost their season opener to the Sheridan Troopers 6-5 in a game we had for you live from Fitzgerald Stadium with Cody Oliver filling in from KDSJ Radio. And then the Hardhats, of course, lost that 8-inning heartbreaker against the Post 6 Sixers down in Cheyenne, and then they just lost a 2-1 game against a very good Billings Scarlets team in a game we just had for you here on Hardhats TV. So the Hardhats are 3-4, but 3 of those 4 losses have been in one-run games to really good teams, and it's just really frustrating right now to be 3-4 in that way because the Hardhats, they have been in those positions. Yeah, that's okay.
Picture of it?
Yeah, I'll take it. They're going to send me a picture too in there. Thanks a lot. I appreciate you. Can't believe this win.
Yeah, makes it tough.
Yeah, thanks. Okay, let's go ahead and get to the starting lineups for your Post 22 Hardhats. Coached by by Kelvin Torvey and assisted by Nick Ewing and Nick Kindred. Here we go. Aiden Roberts will lead off. He will play third base, man the hot corner. Batting second will be center fielder Carter Johnson. Hitting third, it'll be right fielder or left fielder Tate Crossway. Batting fourth for post 22, hitting cleanup to Alex Dietrich. Batting fifth, Hayden Hollick, the designated hitter. Batting sixth, it'll be Aaron Roach. Batting seventh, and manning the receiving side of the battery this evening, the catcher, Philip Vance. Batting eighth and playing second base will be Dawson Inhofer. Of course, Inhofer and Ryan Negebauer, they're filling in for an injured Wyatt Reeder, and we're thinking of you, Wyatt. We love you, Wyatt. We're praying for you. We want you back, and we want you to be okay. Wyatt Reeder, of course, was a part of that violent collision in foul territory in Game 1 of the doubleheader in Cheyenne last Sunday. Batting ninth for Coach Torvey and the Hardhats against the Royals is Wilson Kiefer. Wilson playing shortstop. And on the mound for post 22, it's Eli Kelly, EK, who gets it done. And we'll go through that lineup one more time here. Roberts, Johnson, Crossway, Dietrich, Hollick, Roach, Bentz, Inhofer, and Kiefer. And the starting pitcher will be Eli Kelly for the Hardhats. And we will await the lineup momentarily for the Billings Royals. Hardhats last year, they lost a lopsided game against the Royals in Game 1 of that doubleheader we had for you from Joe Pert's Field last year. But the Hardhats almost beat the Royals in the second game that the two teams played on that Sunday morning. And it was not to be, though. I think it was a 4-3 win for the Hardhats over the Royals in Game 3 of that trip to Billings last year that resulted in a 1-3 road trip. And the Hardhats, they want to get that split tonight, beat the Royals in their only meeting against the Royals, and then try to do something special tomorrow. And we'll have the games for you tomorrow here on Hardhats TV. We're glad you're with us, and the wind has settled down. I'm so happy. It's become a little cooler. I'll take the chill just to not have that huge wind that we had throughout that Billings Scarlets Hardhats game earlier tonight. I'm going to fill out my scorebook. It is 6:50 local time, and you're watching Hardhats TV. I'm just going to fill out my scorebook, and you'll just hear some background music, and then we'll have the lineup for the Royals as it becomes available. You're watching Hardhats TV. We're in between games here in our doubleheader. The Billings Scarlets defeated the Post 22 Hardhats 2-1 in Game 1 of our Saturday night doubleheader. And as the sun sets, we are getting closer and closer to first pitch. The Royals of Billings taking on our Hardhats, who are trying to get back to 500 in a game coming up next here on Hardhats TV. All right, I'm back, and let's go through the Billings Royals lineup. So happy you can watch the entire game, unlike the first game where we had the technical issues. And now we can bring you the lineups for the Billings Royals. Chase Tracy leads off. He will play third base. Batting second for the Royals is Cy Waldron. He plays shortstop. Batting third, Ryan Deneau, the designated hitter. Batting fourth for Billings Royals, it is first baseman Ethan Cheney. He's in the cleanup spot. Batting fifth, it's catcher Anthony Williams. Hitting sixth, Camden Wilson, the center fielder. Batting seventh for the Royals, it's right fielder Peyton Waskow. Batting eighth, it's second baseman Nick Martin. And hitting in ninth and playing left field, Alex Brown. So for the Royals, it's Tracy Waldron Deneau, Cheney Williams Wilson, Wasco, Martin, and Brown. And Carson Jenkins is on the mound for the Royals, going up against Eli Kelly for the post 22 Hardhats. And there's your starting lineups. I'm going to take a moment, fill out the Royals on my scorebook, and then we will be underway. We're moments away from first pitch. The Hardhats against the Royals in Game 2 of our Saturday night doubleheader from Billings. Hardhats trying to get to 4-4 on the season, trying to beat a team that swept the Hardhats here on this first weekend of May a year ago. This is Hardhats TV.
Welcome back to Perch Field this evening. Tonight's game between the Billings Royals post 4 and Rapid City post 22.
And here we go, we're moments away. The Royals starting pitcher, Carson Jenkins, throwing his warm-up tosses. And Aiden Roberts getting set to lead things off for the Hardhats. The wind has thankfully gone down. It is still windy. It is still a factor. It's blowing in from center field, from right field, but the good news is it is not to the extreme, and I mean extreme level, game-altering level it was just about 45 minutes ago. We're starting this game relatively early, definitely on time. We're going to probably have first pitch here at 7 o'clock local time. That Hardhats Scarlets game was just an hour 20 minutes officially. And it just was a fast-moving defensive game with outstanding pitching. And we did not play the bottom of the 7th in that ball game. So here we go. The Hardhats to lead things off. Here comes Aiden Roberts working against Carson Jenkins, the starter for the Billings Royals. We give a big shout out to Wyatt Reeder. Wyatt, we're thinking of you. We miss you. And here we go. Here comes the pitch to Roberts. It's over for strike one. Aiden Roberts, the third baseman, hits it right to third. Throw to first is in time. That's out number 1. So Aiden Roberts, the leadoff man, is retired for post 22.
Center fielder number 16.
Now here comes Carter Johnson. Johnson batting from the right side, waits for the pitch from Jenkins. That barely misses the strike zone high. Count goes to 1-0. Here comes the next pitch, and that ball is chopped to the shortstop. High hop, throw to first is in time. And that is now 2 up and 2 down, and major tip of the hat to the left side of the Royals infield. They made great plays on what would not be considered routine balls here on this turf field. Here comes the pitch to Tate Crossway. He lifts it to left, where the left fielder quickly retires Crossway. And that's 1, 2, 3. And that inning was only 2 minutes long. Wow, that half inning, you talk about a fast 3 outs. Well, that was it right there. No runs, no hits, no errors. We did not even play 3 minutes of baseball. And as we bring Eli Kelly to the mound to start game 2 of this doubleheader, no score here in Billings, the Magic City.
For the Hardhats, we've got Eli Kelly on the mound pitching.
Eli Kelly will face Chase Tracy, Cy Waldron, and Ryan Deneau. And if anyone gets on for the Royals, it'll be Ethan Cheney. Temperature has dramatically dropped. We were in the 70s against the Scarlets. We're now at 65, but with the wind, it feels like 63 degrees.
Carter Johnson in center field.
Eli Kelly
in right field.
Getting ready to go. Umpire telling the public address announcer he needs to provide updates on the Nuggets. So the Nuggets take on the Minnesota Timberwolves in game 1 of that second round Western Conference Series.
For the Billings Royals this evening, third baseman number 11, Chase Tracy.
I want to give a major compliment to the Billings Royals music selector. He did a super job. I would put his choice of music right up there with the Del Rapids High School music selection bunch. There's a pitch from Kelly, and that's outside. The count quickly goes to 2-0. Wind starting to pick up a little more. Hopefully that does not become a trend. There's a slapped ball over to Roberts. Throw to first in time. And just as the Hardhats inning began with a smash from the leadoff third baseman to third base to the other opposing third baseman, and a throw across to first for the first out of the game for the inning. That's exactly how Chase Tracy, the third baseman for Billings, is retired at the hand and glove of our own Aiden Roberts. Now here comes Cy Waldron to bat. Cy, who spells his name S-Y, coming up to bat here against Eli Kelly. First pitch over for a strike. Now the ball fouled into the parking lot.
It's going to be in your way.
And the count goes to 0-2. Here comes the 0-2 pitch from Eli Kelly to Cy Waldron. Kelly's pitch is fouled back to the screen, and we'll do it again at 0-2. Now Waldron hits a ball fair just inside the left field line. That's going to be a stand-up double for Cy Waldron with one out here in the bottom of the first. That is a great piece of hitting by Cy. That's the first extra base hit the Hardhats have given up in this doubleheader tonight. And now here comes Ryan Deneau, the right-handed hitter for the Billings Royals. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, I'm sure. You're good. No, you're fine. It's the wind I just wish would go down. There's an outside pitch, 1-0. Ryan Deneau waits for the next pitch from Eli Kelly. There's a man at second with one out. Here comes the pitch. And that ball hit hard up the middle. That'll be a base hit and an RBI. The Royals take a 1-0 lead as Deneau brings home Waldron. And with the throw home, Cy takes an extra, Deneau takes an extra base. So an RBI single from Deneau makes it 1-0. That's the first run we've been able to bring for you on Hardhats TV so far. Because last game when we came on the air in the fourth inning, it was 2-1, and that turned out to be our final score. So the Royals have a 1-0 lead. Deneau with a large lead off of second base, and here comes Kelly's next pitch. That's over for a strike. For the second consecutive year on a Saturday night, the Royals able to score in the first inning against the opposing pitcher for post 22. Here comes the next pitch, and that's a swing and a miss by Ethan Cheney. So Cheney down in the count 0-2. On second base is Ryan Deneau. Cy Waldron scored a moment earlier with Deneau's single, and then his advancement to second on the throw home. Really think that ball should have been cut off, but so many times you want to try to get that man at home, and it's hard to just admit that man's going to get to home plate before your ball does from the outfield. Your throw from the outfield. There's a pitch outside for a ball. Count now 2-2. Eli Kelly trying to keep it a 1-0 game. Hardhats this season, they are 0 for 3 in one-run games. There's a ball hit to left, and it's caught for out number 2. Good play there for the Hardhats. And now Anthony Williams will bat, the catcher for the Royals. Anthony Williams waits for the pitch from Eli Kelly. Kelly looks back at the runner, fires over for a strike. Boy, that pitch had some outstanding rotation on it. Here comes Eli Kelly's second pitch to Phillip Benz in this at-bat. The batter is Anthony Williams. That pitch is outside for a ball. You're watching live coverage on Hardhats TV, post 22, 3 and 4 on the year, taking on the Billings Royals in Game 2 of our doubleheader here in Billings, Montana, a community with 115,000 population. Really the commercial center for South Central Montana. We are able to see the back of Rimrock Mall in the beyond the outfield wall. That is where I bought my wife her engagement ring back in 2015. Bought the ring at Riddle's Jewelry here in Billings. My wife Cassandra, and so happy she said yes. Count is 2-2. Here comes the pitch to Anthony Williams. And that's a bouncer to the plate, and the count goes full. We haven't had a lot of full counts tonight for whatever reason. We finally have a full count as Anthony Williams waits for the pitch from Hardhats ace Eli Kelly. Here comes the pitch from Eli, and it is drilled fair down the line into the left field corner. That'll bring home the no. And here comes the throw to second. It's not in time. And Anthony Williams comes through with a clutch double to make it 2-0 in favor of the Billings Royals.
RBI double by Williams brings to the plate center field, number 4.
So, after having the leadoff man retired, the Billings Royals have managed to play 2 runs. And standing out at second is Camden Wilson, all fouled to the screen for a ball. Hardhats trailing 2-0. We're in the bottom of the first inning in this Saturday night doubleheader from the Magic City of Billings, Montana. And I'm back to putting my hands on the computer. I find this funny. I'll share the story, but at the end of that game against the Scarlets, I had somebody correct me on the announcement of a player playing a position that he was not playing. But before that correction was made, I was called something that I don't think I've been called before. I can't say it on the air, but man, I'll tell you, those 2 Scarlets fans, they were none too friendly to this Hardhats broadcaster. Here comes a pitch. It's a grounder to Inhofer at second. Throw to first in time, and that'll end the bottom of the first inning. But the Billings Royals are able to score 2 runs, largely lifted by a pair of doubles, RBI doubles, that gave the Royals the lead they currently possess. We have reached the top of the second inning, and the Royals in the bottom of the first scored 2 runs on a total of 3 hits. There were no errors, and there was 1 man left on base. Through 1 inning of play here in Billings, it's the Royals 2, the Hardhats nothing. Coming up for post 22 in the top of the second inning, middle of the top of the second inning, it's Alex Dietrich, Hayden Pollock, and Aaron Roach. It's May 4th, by the way. That is known as Star Wars Day because, of course, Star Wars has the phrase, "May the Force be with you." And May the 4th be with you is where May 4th became Star Wars Day. I love Star Wars. I was born at the perfect time when it came to Star Wars. I was born in 1971. So when Star Wars came out in the summer of 1977, I was 6 years old, which was just old enough to see Star Wars, appreciate Star Wars, and buy all the toys and Star Wars Kenner brand action figures. I had a 77 Kenner action figure collection by the time the trilogy was completed with Return of the Jedi. That's how Star Wars I was. Here comes a pitch now from Jenkins. That's a good piece of high heat to Alex Dietrich, and the count is 1-1. Here comes the pitch to Dietrich. Dietrich has the string pulled on him. He got ahead of that pitch, and the count goes to 1-2. Hardhats trying to avoid a 3-game losing streak. They lost to Gillette Wednesday night, lost to the Scarlets a few minutes ago. Within the hour, there's a grounder to first, unassisted put out there, made by Royals first baseman Ethan Cheney. That's 2 up, 2 down here in the top of the second for post 22. Check that. The opening man is retired for out number 1 to start the second inning. Now here comes Hayden Hollick, the number 5 hitter. Hardhats yet to reach base against Carson Jenkins, the starter for the Billings Royals. There's a pitch that's fouled off the dugout protecting screen down at the Hardhats dugout, down the first base line. Dugouts are very close to the field here in Billings. Count now 1-2 to Hayden Hollick. Hollick hits it hard, and that ball will drop for a base hit. And Hayden Hollick is on board here in the second inning. And the Hardhats have something going, bringing the tying man to the plate in the person of Aaron Roach.
Brings to the plate our next batter. Right fielder, number 23, Aaron Roach.
Aaron Roach trying to advance the runner with 1 out here in the second. Royals leading 2-0. We're early on here in Game 2 of this Saturday night doubleheader. If you're just joining us, the Billings Scarlets beat the Hardhats 2-1 in 7 innings earlier tonight. Roach now working against an 0-1 count. Waits for the pitch from Jenkins, and he drills it down the middle to center field, and that is a pair of back-to-back base hits, and the Hardhats with 2 on and 1 out here in the second inning.
Single by Roach. Brings to the plate our next batter.
Now here comes Philip Benz. Who can forget Philip Benz last year hitting a home run here in this ballpark over the left center field fence? But it should be noted the wind was not the factor last year when the Hardhats came here that it is tonight. Here comes a pitch from Carson Jenkins. That's over. No, he didn't get the call. Count evens at 1-1. Carson Jenkins looks like he has some pretty good off-speed stuff tonight. Here comes the pitch from Carson. That ball chopped, and it's fair inside the third base bag. That's going to make it a 2-1 game. And now Roach gets the go sign as the ball is bobbled in the corner, and we're all tied at 2. A double and perhaps an error on the left fielder allows the Hardhats to take both runners that were at first and second across home plate. So a bases clearing double by Philip Benz, who absolutely loves playing in this ballpark here in Billings at Joe Pertz Field. This is 2 years in a row that Philip Benz has come through late on a Saturday night with an extra base hit, multi-RBI hit for the Hardhats. Last year it was against the Scarlets. This year it's against the Royals. And it's a 2-2 tie with 1 out. And now Dawson Inhofer batting in the number 8 spot of the lineup for the Hardhats. Hayden Hollick and Aaron Roach score on a 2-run double by Philip Benz. And they did give an error, by the way, to the left fielder. I believe that's either Nick Martin or Alex Brown. Here comes the 1-2 pitch to Inhofer, and Inhofer fouls it away and stays alive. Hardhats trailed 2-0 after the first inning. They've quickly erased that deficit. Now they're trying to get their first lead of the game and their first lead tonight as Inhofer strikes out. And that brings up Wilson Kiefer with a man in scoring position. Philip Bentz is out at second base after that two-run double. And he waits the pitch from Jenkins, and that is high for a ball. Wilson Kiefer. He made a great defensive play in that game against the Scarlets in the late innings. See what he can do here at the plate. And there's a pitch that is called low. The strike zone definitely smaller than we've seen some of the strike zones so far this year. So you really have to locate your pitches tonight for both teams. Here comes the pitch from Jenkins. The pitch is drilled through the hole. That might just... No, it won't. I thought it might tie the game, but the left fielder for the Royals was playing very shallow, and Kelvin Torby gave Philip Bentz, his catcher, the stop sign at third. So now there are runners at the corners. Hardhats in this inning have now strung together 4 hits. And here comes Aiden Roberts. Aiden with a chance to put the Hardhats on top here. And Roberts seems to have done it if it's fair. It is! It lands! Oh, they're going to say foul. Man, that was close. That was very close. The umpire was all over it. He had a better view of it than I did. It lands just outside the chalk down the right field line, and we'll do it all over again with an 0-1 count. Man, that was just about what the doctor ordered for the Hardhats. Here comes Carson Jenkins' next pitch. As now Roberts shows bunt with 2 outs and just 1 strike against him. Bentz leading off at third. At first base, it's Wilson Kiefer. Here comes a pitch from Roberts, and he fouls the ball out of play, and the count goes to 0-2. Oliver Fell will be with you Tuesday night, making his Hardhats TV debut for 2024. Taking off is Kiefer, ball drifting over to left field, and it's dropped! And the Hardhats score 1 run, and they might score another, and they do. The Hardhats score 2 runs as the ball is dropped and booted in left field. It was a hard play to make, especially with the wind playing havoc with the baseball. We'll see how they score it, but the Hardhats, most importantly, score 2 runs with 2 outs off the bat of Aiden Roberts, who's at second base.
Next up for the Hardhats,
that will not be an RBI double. That will be an error on the left fielder. The Hardhats, Roberts does not get a pair of RBIs, but we're going to take the runs. Hardhats leading 4-2. They have doubled up the Royals with 4 runs in the top of the second inning. Hardhats really responding impressively to the Royals' pair of runs against Eli Kelly in the bottom of the first inning. Here comes the pitch from Jenkins. Wind really kicking up now here in Billings. That pitch outside for a ball. So Philip Bentz and Wilson Kiefer score on the air in left field by the Royals. That left fielder off to a rough start so far. Left fielder is Alex Brown for the Royals. bat here for post 22 is Carter Johnson. Johnson grounded out his first time up last inning. Hardhats have hit the Royals 4-3, and they've outscored the Royals 4-2. Here comes a pitch, and one thing that's encouraging if you're a Hardhats fan, not only does post 22 have a 2-run lead, but the Hardhats definitely are getting good swings against Jenkins on the mound for the Billings Royals. Jenkins looks off towards second base, steps off the rubber. 1-2 count, forthcoming, 2 outs. Hardhats have rallied for 4 runs on 4 hits and a very costly pair of errors here in the inning. There's a grounder to short. Now the ball is thrown past the first baseman, and the Hardhats will score the 5th run of the 2nd inning to take a 5-2 lead. Roberts able to score on the air, as that was going to be an infield hit for Carter Johnson, who possesses great speed. But then after the 3rd error in this inning was committed by the Royals shortstop, Cy Waldron, on a throwing error, the Hardhats now have plated a handful of young men past home plate. And now Tate Crossway will bat, and the Hardhats have managed to bat around here in the 2nd inning. And there's a long conference, and no doubt the Royal skipper has to be very frustrated by the fact that this 5-run inning has been made possible in part due to a trio of miscues in the field.
Number 29, Tate Crossway.
Now here comes left-handed slugger Tate Crossway, the extremely quick Carter Johnson leading off first base. He almost took off there, elected not to do so. Mike Fell with you, filling in for Oliver Fell on a very windy and somewhat chilly spring evening. We had a beautiful day in this part of the country. I was in Wyoming earlier today and with my family at my mother-in-law's, and it was just a great day. Really had fun this morning watching my sons Keith and Jasper participate in T-ball and first-time baseball. And you know, a lot of the players, it was just, I think Coach Torvey described it really well. He said, boy, that's just adorable. And it really was. Just really a fun time. They had a neat opening ceremony as well this morning in Powell, Wyoming, where I was. Here comes the pitch after a stolen base is made by Carter Johnson. Wind really picking up again. I thought the wind was going to subside. It kind of calmed down, and apparently those isobars are right over us tonight. We've got some pretty intense wind that we've been dealing with outside the press box where we're located here, just behind home plate. Here comes the next pitch from Jenkins, and that's a swing and a miss. Throw down to third is not in time, as Carter Johnson steals his 2nd bag of this inning. Johnson reached on an error, and now he's picked up a pair of bases with his speed. Here comes the 3-2 payoff pitch to Tate Crossway with the Hardhats in front, 5-2. Here comes the pitch. It's fouled. A bit too close to my car for comfort. It did not hit my car, though. Here comes the 3-2 pitch from Jenkins to Crossway with Carter Johnson 90 feet away at third base. And that's strike 3. And I think Tate thought he had a base on balls. The umpire saw differently, and that retires the side. But the Hardhats get 5 runs, and they bat around. And they capitalize on 3 errors in the top of the second inning. Hardhats score 5 runs. Not all of them were earned. On a total of 4 hits, and there was 1 man left on third base through an inning and a half of action here in Billings, Montana. It's the Hardhats 5 and the Billings Royals 2. This is Hardhats TV. Well, I love the state of Montana. It is an amazing state. It is a beautiful state. And not everybody in the country knows about it yet. I know a lot of people in the area around Bozeman and in the eastern part of the state, around Paradise Valley, they're not too thrilled with how many people have discovered Montana and moved in from other parts of the country to take the cost of living through the roof, as I understand it. But this is just a great place to live, raise a family, just like it is in West River, South Dakota. And there's a lot of similarities, a lot of parallels. The biggest difference is they have a Costco in Billings, and we're still looking for a Costco for Rapid City. There's a pitch over. It's outside. It's 1-1. Peyton Wesco leads things off for the Billings Royals, who trail by 3 after taking an early 2-0 advantage in this ball game. It's Derby Day. I've been so into these games and into the technical aspects and the wins. I don't even know who won the Kentucky Derby. But whichever horse did, they certainly deserve a place in equestrian immortality. There is a ball getting away, and that is a walk. And
base on balls for Waskow brings to the plate.
Waskow is on base with that walk, and now here comes Eric Martin, or Nick Martin. Eric Martin was a NFL player. Here comes Nick Martin. Nick, the second baseman, waits for the pitch from Eli Kelly. And that pitch is over for a strike. Hardhats will take on Watertown next weekend. They will visit, quote-unquote visit, Pete Lean Field and take on the 320 Stars Tuesday night. Oliver Fell will be behind the microphone and running the graphics. Excited to have my son back in Rapid City and calling the games this summer with all of you. It's been my humble privilege and pleasure to bring you the first 10 games or so of the season here on Hardhats TV. Ball is lifted foul. It may leave the park. It might be fair, and it's caught! Alex Dietrich able to make the catch as the ballpark holds that foul ball just barely. Good catch by Dietrich, and that's the first out of the second inning as Nick Martin is retired.
Now batting, left fielder number 13, Alex Brown.
Now here comes Alex Brown. Brown had a really rough top of the second in the field. We'll see here what he can do at the plate his first time up, batting in the number 9 hole for the Billings Royals. I want to give a shout out to my good friend Steve Ammerman. He is a huge lifelong fan of the Kansas City Royals. Now the Royals are my favorite American League team. There's a throw down to first. It gets away from Crosswade, and throwing behind the runner doesn't work out there as Bence's throw hit the bag, and Dietrich couldn't come up with it. And advancing from first to second is Peyton Wesco. That'll be the first error of the ball game for the Hardhats, and I think they're going to put that error on Vince with the throw being short of first or hitting the bag. There's a pop-up, and the Hardhats make the catch. Good play there by Wilson Kiefer. He called off his outfielders and made the grab. Probably a little bit deeper in the outfield than he expected to, but all's well that ends well.
For the Royals, number 11, Chase Tracy.
So now there's a man at second base with 2 outs, and here comes Chase Tracy hitting for the second time in the ball game here in the bottom of the second. Tracy grounded out to Aiden Roberts his first time up. Here comes the 1-0 pitch to Chase Tracy, and that pitch is over for a strike. This is a big at-bat because the extremely dangerous Cy Waldron and Ryan Deneau are on deck and in the hole for the Royals in this 5-2 ball game. Here comes the pitch from Kelly, and that's over for strike 2. That was a dandy pitch right there. Maybe Kelly's best of the ball game. Count now goes to 1-2. Kelly 1 strike away from keeping this a 5-3 ball game. Here comes the pitch, and that's a swing and a miss, strike 3. EK gets it done for the Hardhats. No score for the Billings Royals in the bottom of the second. There were no runs. There were no hits. There was 1 error, and there was 1 man left on second base.
After 2 complete innings.
Would you like a cup of coffee or something?
Score is
A bottle of water or something?
Bottle of water?
That'd be awesome. Thank you, sir.
Anything else?
If you found Reese's peanut butter cups, I'd take that too. Thank you. I want to thank the nice folks here and with the Royals. Their fans are treating me so well. The Scarlets fans, one of them called me a name I can't even repeat on the broadcast just because I didn't identify the second baseman properly. Tough crowd. I almost felt like I was at Old Veterans Stadium when the Scarlets were playing the Hardhats. Now it feels like I'm in Kansas City, literally, with the Royals and great fans that you would find with Kansas City Royals fans at Kauffman Stadium. So here we go. We go to the bottom of the third inning. Hardhats leading 5-2. Alex Dietrich will lead things off. Alex Dietrich grounded out his first time up to the first baseman. He pops it up. There's confusion, but ultimately the catch is made from center field for out number 1. For a moment, you had 3 Royals calling for it, it appeared. And then I was wondering, was the wind going to push it to just that right spot between the center fielder, the left fielder, and the shortstop for the ball to drop? And then there's a hit by pitch. The wind, we saw this last game, because it's so strong, it pushed the ball from the inside part of the plate into the hitter. So right-handed hitter Alex Dietrich reaches, or Hayden Howick reaches on a hit by pitch. And now here comes Aaron Roach. Roach had a really important single last inning because that was the second hit in a row, and that's really what was the catalyst to the rally, I thought, for the Hardhats as they scored 5 runs. And there's another hit by pitch, and again the wind pushes the ball into the batter for post 22. And Aaron Roach jogs down the line to first base.
Next up,
2 consecutive wind-related hit by pitches put 2 men on with 1 out here in the top of the third inning. Post 22 leading 5-2. Hardhats trying to split their games tonight in this nighttime doubleheader at Joe Pert's Field, just across the side street from the Rimrock Mall. Rimrock Mall, one of the best malls around. Again, as I mentioned earlier, it's where I bought my wife her wedding ring, and there's another hit by pitch. Again, the wind playing a part in Carson Jenkins' struggles as he keeps plunking Hardhats
Next up for Rapid,
with wind-related
number 14,
pitches. So now Hayden Hollick's at third base. Aaron Roach is at second. Bentz is at first with just one out. The double play, of course, is in effect for the Royals, but here comes Dawson Inhofer, Ridge Inhofer's little brother, with a chance to do some real damage in this three-run ball game with the Hardhats on top 5-2, batting here in the top of the third inning. Here comes the 1-1 pitch to Inhofer. That's over for a strike. And I've noticed an adjustment after those three hit by pitches on off-speed pitches. Now Jenkins is just going to the heater, and there he gets his man Inhofer with a pair of fastballs. And that is the second strikeout tonight for Carson Jenkins. And now here comes Wilson Kiefer. Wilson with the bases loaded, with a chance to break this game wide open for post 22. Sees his first pitch come inside for a ball. I wouldn't expect any off-speed inside pitches from Jenkins after the wind pushed the ball into a trio of Hardhats to load the bases with one out. Now there are two outs, bases loaded. Quickly, Kiefer goes ahead in the count 2-0. And there's a pitch, and it's just inside for a ball. And now Wilson Kiefer has a golden opportunity to add to the lead with the bat on his shoulder. That pitch is just over the plate for a strike. Thank you, sir. Count goes to 3-1. Kiefer waits for the pitch from Jenkins, and that's outside for ball 4, and the Hardhats, aided by the wind, forcing three hit by pitches, now draws a walk, an RBI walk from Wilson Kiefer, and the Hardhats have a 6-2 lead, and that may be it for Carson Jenkins tonight as the manager comes out and has a talk with Carson Jenkins and the Royals infielders. Thank you. I appreciate it very much. Hayden Hollick scores on that bases loaded walk. And the Hardhats now have scored in consecutive innings, in innings 2 and 3, and possess a 4-run lead. The Billings Royals, if you're just joining us, took an early 2-0 lead, but the Hardhats have stormed back and now have a 6-2 advantage here with the lights on here at Joe Pert's Field in wind-blown Billings. And it's so windy, I got to put my hand on my laptop again, make sure it doesn't blow away, and that would ruin this broadcast really fast. There's a ball hit to third. Easy play made on the bag there by the Royals' third baseman, Chase Tracy, and that'll retire the side. But the Hardhats do push a run across in a very unconventional way with 3 straight hit by pitches and a base on balls RBI from Wilson Kiefer. The Hardhats lead 6-2. You're watching Hardhats TV in the top of the third inning. Post 22 scored 1 run. There were no hits. There were no errors. And there were 3 men left on base. And the Hardhats lead 6-2 as we go to the bottom of the 3rd inning in this 7-inning ball game. Earlier today, here at Joe Pertz Field, the Billings Scarlets defeated the Missoula, Montana Mavericks 11-6, and the Hardhats lost to the Billings Scarlets 2-1. Eli Kelly started this game, and he is continuing to move along here in the 3rd inning for the Hardhats, who are trying to kind of keep a pattern going. When the Hardhats have lost the first game of a doubleheader this year, whether it was the season opening doubleheader at home against the Sheridan Troopers, or it was last Sunday afternoon against the Cheyenne Post 6 Sixers, every time the Hardhats lost the first game of a doubleheader, they've come back and won the second game. The Hardhats have not been swept in a doubleheader this year, or in a pair of games this year. It really doesn't feel like a doubleheader, of course, tonight, because the Hardhats are playing 2 different teams back to back. First pitch from Kelly, fouled away for a strike. Second pitch, same result. And quickly, EK moves ahead of Cy Waldron, the leadoff hitter here in the 3rd inning. Cy doubled and scored his first time up, and Cy hits it to Roberts. Roberts handles it well, throws the first in time. Waldron, who has great speed, is retired 5-3 if you're scoring along with us. And that'll bring up Ryan Deneau.
Number 9, Ryan Deneau.
Ryan Deneau, he's an impressive ball player. Ryan had a RBI single to start the scoring back in the 1st inning. There's a pitch from Kelly. That's just off the plate for a ball. Deneau quickly works his way ahead in the count, 2-0. Pitch from Kelly is fouled to the screen.
All right.
Count goes to 2-1 now. Eli Kelly pitched so well in innings 5, 6, 7, and 8 against the Cheyenne Post Sixers last Sunday. He's looking to do the same thing tonight as he gets the call saying that the batter went around. The count now 2-2 with 1 out and nobody on base in the bottom of the 3rd inning. The Hardhats on top 6-2. Here's a pitch. Ball hit by Deneau to Kiefer. Kiefer's got it. Throw to first is mishandled off the glove of Alex Dietrich. That'll be an error. And Ryan Deneau is on base with 1 out. That was a rare error by Alex Dietrich.
First baseman, number 20, Ethan Cheney.
Go Cheney.
And now Ethan Cheney will come up to bat. Cheney flew out to the left fielder, his first time up tonight. There's a pitch to Cheney, and he hits the ball out of play. Ethan Cheney, right-handed slugger, batting cleanup tonight for the Billings Royals. Hardhats up by 4 runs here in the 3rd. Eli Kelly still on the mound. Needs to go 4 innings to be the pitcher of record in this one. There's a pitch outside. Count now goes to 1-1. Kelly looks to first, trying to hold the runner. Now fires home. Ball is hit. This could be two. Handled by Inhofer to Kiefer to Dietrich for a 4-6-3 double play. How about those Hardhats in the field? Great scoop by Dawson Inhofer. Nice flip to Wilson Kiefer. And then an absolute strike down to first base, handled smoothly by Alex Dietrich to retire the side. So, thanks to that inning-ending 4-6-3 double play, the Hardhats keep the Royals again off the scoreboard for the second straight inning. In the bottom of the third inning, there were no runs. There were no hits. There was one error. And there was nobody left on base. Hardhats 6, Royals 2. We go to the fourth. This is Hardhats TV. I want to thank my son, the voice of Hardhats TV, Oliver Fell, for helping us get on the air earlier tonight. We had connectivity issues. We had wind-related issues. We're, of course, broadcasting outside throughout our broadcasts here at Joe Pert's Field. We love this ballpark. They just don't have a large press box for any media broadcasters. And there's a leadoff base hit for Carter Johnson to get things started here in the top of the fourth inning for the Hardhats. Temperature has really chilled off in a hurry.
Left fielder number 29, Tate.
When I was driving north from Wyoming earlier this afternoon, it was hot, but I just would not allow myself to turn on the air conditioner in the car. I'm like, it is May 4th. You're not going to turn on the AC, and I did not do that. Didn't have to. Never broke a sweat, but a fly got in the car, though, somehow. There's a throw back to first. Johnson dives back. Now Tate Crossweight is the hitter. Tate Crossweight waits for the pitch and puts down a perfect bunt. Throw to first, not in time. No, they say it was in time. Now a throw down to third, and they get Johnson, who tried to stretch a spot at second for a spot at third, and that's a very unconventional double play, and now a Hardhat is down. Tate Crossweight is hobbled. He is hunched over. He is in pain, and the trainer racing out to attend to Tate Crossweight. I don't know what happened after he crossed first base and was called out, but he is down. And we have an injury timeout, and Kelvin Torvey will jog across the diamond. And let's hope that Tate is all right. Tate Crossweight, a key player in this offensive lineup for Post 22. He just seemed to have something just get him, and I don't know if it's a cramp situation. He is up on his feet. He's needing assistance, though, from the trainer, and one of the Hardhat players comes out to give him a hand. Let's hope Tate's all right. Man, Hardhat's already dealing with the loss of Wyatt Reeder. Understand Harrison Good and Hayden Leidy, those super seniors, should be coming back fairly soon, but Harrison Good is playing so well, and his team down at Northeastern Junior College in Sterling, Colorado, playing such great baseball. They've made it to the playoffs, and it'll be at least another week or so before Harrison Good gets back for post 22. And we congratulate Harrison on an outstanding start to his collegiate career. Here comes a pitch, and that's over for a ball. Count now 1-0. If you're scoring along with us, it was a double play in which Crossweight was thrown out 6-3, and then Johnson was retired. I guess you'd call it kind of a caught stealing thing. 3-5. Across the diamond. Here comes the pitch to Dietrich. Inside out swing will drop for a base hit. Good piece of hitting by Alex Dietrich. That was not the type of swing that one would associate with somebody like a Ted Williams or a Will Clark, but
Except for the Hardhats, number 20.
The swing got the job done.
Hayden Holland.
Here comes the next pitch from Jenkins to Hollick, and that ball is low. Here comes the pitch to Hayden. Hayden fouls it into the parking lot. Happy to have all of you with us. Big shout out to all of you Hardhat fans. Again, appreciate your patience. It took a little while to get connected, and the game went really fast. So we missed 3.5 innings of the first game. Brought you all the dramatic moments in the second half of the game. It stayed the same on the scoreboard. It was 2-1 when we came on the air after a 40-minute technical challenge. And folks, I tell you, we are really diligent about showing up early to make sure, and this is a big priority for Oliver, it's a priority for me, to give all of you all the action. And we show up early, but the game right before our game, Missoula versus the Scarlets, there's a handled chopper at third,
No runs, 2
sent
hits.
along to first to retire the side, and the Hardhats failed to score in the top of the fourth inning. We'll round out the fourth inning. There were no runs. No runs. There was one hit. There were no errors, and there were no men left on base. So we go to the bottom of the fourth inning
Number 13
with the Hardhats leading 6-2. But I'll tell you, I showed up over an hour before the game, but I couldn't set anything up because there's only one broadcasting position available when I arrived, and had to wait for the game to end and then wait for the video broadcaster, sportscaster, to tear everything down, put everything away before we could even set up our equipment. And it made it tough. It made it tough. But we got where we needed to go eventually. So we have had a change, a pitching change for the Hardhats now as we go to the fourth inning. So Eli Kelly will not be credited with the victory, as he does not go the necessary 4 innings to earn a win. And we're not sure who the win will go to if the Hardhats hold on to their advantage. Hardhats leading 6-2.
Number 6, Anthony Williams.
Anthony Williams will lead things off for the Billings Royals, followed by Camden Wilson and Peyton Waskow here in the bottom of the fourth inning. It's a 4-run game, but this game is not over. Billings is a Billings Royals and Billings Scarlets are tough opponents. Hardhats never got a win against either one of these two teams when they came here a year ago. They would love to get a win tonight. Hardhats trying to avoid being swept in a doubleheader. They have never been swept yet in a doubleheader, even though they lost the first half of a doubleheader 3 times so far. Once at home to Sheridan, at Cheyenne last Sunday, and in the first half of the game doubleheader we've been bringing you, when the Scarlets held on to a 2-1 lead and a victory 2-1 win earlier this evening. Here comes the pitch, and that's a hit by pitch in the back. And Williams will take a base as the leadoff hitter is aboard.
Anthony wears that one, which brings our next batter up.
We'll see who the new pitcher is for post 22.
Number 4. Center fielder, Camden Wilson.
Rowan Fredrickson is out there again. Rowan pitched 2 2/3 innings, pitched very well in relief earlier tonight, and he's back out there a second time, making a cameo appearance for Coach Kelvin Torvey. Pitch from Fredrickson is outside for a ball. Hardhats in all of the teams in this tournament really going to the pitching hard and heavy, because 4 games in less than 24 hours, man, that's a lot of time. It's a lot of work, a lot of innings that need to be filled by this pitching staff, and by the pitching staff of all of the 4 of these teams that are here. The teams that are here for the games this weekend, post 22 from Rapid City, of course, Billings Royals, Billings Scarlets, the host institutions, the host Legion clubs, and the Missoula Mavericks. Very familiar to Hardhat fans, as the Missoula Mavericks have traveled to Rapid City for the Firecracker tournament for more than 20 years now. Count is now 1-1 to Camden Wilson. And there's a swing and a miss, and Rowan, he really took something off of that one. Closing the book on Eli Kelly, he worked 3 innings, only giving up 2 runs. Pitched very well. There's a throw over to first. Tag applied, but not in time. Leading off for the Royals is Anthony Williams. Anthony Williams, much like Philip Benz for the Hardhats, a catcher who runs pretty well. Here comes a pitch to Camden Wilson. And that pitch is outside, throw down to first, not in time. Philip Benz and Alex Dietrich, they have great chemistry down that first base line together. Very comfortable throwing behind runners, trying to help out their pitchers through an unconventional means. Here comes the pitch, the 2-2 pitch now from Fredrickson to Wilson. And that pitch is high, and the count goes full. Here comes the 3-2 pitch from Rowan Fredrickson to Camden Wilson. Anthony Williams with a bit of a lead off of first base. Here comes the pitch from Rowan, and it is outside and back to the screen. And the runners are at first and second with nobody out. And this appearance for Rowan, suddenly reminiscent of what Rowan's appearance looked like against the post 6 Sixers in relief of Lee Negebauer, when the Hardhats had a 4-1 lead in game 1 of that doubleheader last week. And now we hear the Darth Vader music, as today is May 4th, is Star Wars Day. It's on May 4th every year, where people say, "May the 4th be with you." It's like, "May the Force be with you." And here we go.
Now batting for the Royals, number 2, Peyton Waskow.
2 on, nobody out. Rowan Fredrickson getting a visit from his pitching coach, and now we do have activity in the Hardhats bullpen. Quickly racing out to get loose for post 22 is Jaden Moreno. So Moreno quickly is going to get loose as Fredrickson has suddenly opened the gate to what could be a very big rally here in the bottom of the 4th for the Billings Royals, who trail 6-2. 2 on, nobody out. Fredrickson really struggling in his second relief appearance, and he throws the ball away. Diedrich wasn't looking for it, and that will be an error on the pitcher, and the wheels are falling off Rowan Fredrickson, and Jaden Moreno can't get loose fast enough. Peyton Wesco, the hitter, the left-handed hitter. Rowan Fredrickson really struggling in all facets at the moment. Here's the pitch for Rowan, and that's inside, but off the plate. Peyton Wesco, very dangerous hitter for the Royals, waits for the pitch, and he lifts it foul out of play down the left field line. Count now 1-2. Rowan Fredrickson. This would be a huge out if he could get it. 2 men on scoring position. Hardhats leading 6-2. This situation suddenly looking dangerous as Jaden Moreno gets loose, and there's a swing and a miss, strike 3. That's a big out for Rowan. And that puts that Cheyenne performance to the moment in the rearview mirror, because Rowan, he wasn't able to get any outs 2 weeks ago. He just got an out right there with a K on Peyton Wesco, one of the best hitters for the Royals. Big out there for Rowan. Rowan, by the way, pitched great in relief of Lee Negebauer in the first game of the doubleheader. It's not easy to do. Come out and pitch twice in the same night, 2 different games. There's a pitch from Rowan. That's over. Count goes to 1-1. To Nick Martin. Martin tonight popped out to the first baseman his last time up. There's a pitch outside. Count goes to 2-1. That was the pop out where Alex Diedrich had just enough room to catch the ball against the fence, just down the line from the Hardhats dugout. There's a pitch from Rowan. That's outside. Count goes to 3-1. Rowan with a base open, but in a 6-2 game, the last thing you want to do is bring the tying run to the plate with 1 out. Here comes a 3-1 pitch from Rowan Fredrickson. And that ball is hit to Kiefer. Kiefer throws to first, and it's in time. A run will score, and it's 6-3. But the Hardhats will gladly, in that situation, exchange a run for an out. Good play by Wilson Kiefer. Nick Martin gets the RBI, bringing home Anthony Williams. And for the first time since the first inning, the Billings Royals break through with a run, and the inning continues now. It's 6-3. Hardhats have out-hit the Royals 6-3, and they've outscored the Royals 6-3. Now there's a runner at third with 2 outs, and Alex Brown is up to bat. Alex had a pair of errors back in the second inning that really made a difference in that 5-run explosion for the Hardhats back in the top of the second inning. Here comes a pitch to Brown. It's lifted, called for by Johnson, who makes the catch. And Rowan Fredrickson took a very big step into a much bigger world. And that, by the way, is a Star Wars quote after Luke Skywalker put his blast shield on and used the Force to deal with that zapper flying robot inside of the Millennium Falcon, if you remember the Star Wars movie accurately like I do. That's the end of 4.5 innings of play here in Billings, Montana. Our score, Post 22-6, and the Billings Royals 3. Coming up in the bottom of the 5th inning for the Hardhats will be Aaron Roach, Philip Bentz, and Dawson Inhofer. You're watching Hardhats TV. To recap the bottom of the 4th inning, the Royals scored 1 run. There were no hits. There was 1 error, and there was 1 man left on third base. We go to the top of the 5th inning in this 7-inning game. Hardhats 6, Royals 3. This is Hardhats TV. Well, we sure are happy to have all of you with us. Score from the desert down in Phoenix. My San Diego Padres all over the defending pennant winners from Arizona. 8-0 in the top of the 7th inning. What an impressive performance by Manny Machado so far. 3 RBIs. Jurickson Profar with a home run and a stolen base. Wow, how about those pods? Very impressive.
Aaron Roach.
And here we go. Aaron Roach coming up to bat. Sees the first pitch from Jenkins go over the plate for a strike. Carson Jenkins, the starting pitcher, still out there for the Billings Royals, and there's a hit for Aaron Roach to center field. Aaron Roach now 2 for 2 with a hit by pitch in this ball game. Great job by Aaron Roach. And now here comes Philip Bentz.
Number 11, Philip Bentz.
And there's a pitch outside for a ball from Jenkins. Carson Jenkins, in his 5th inning of duty. He's pitched a pretty good game. Those 3 errors were no friend of Carson's, to say the least, back in the 2nd inning. You take the errors out of the equation in the 2nd inning, and Jenkins has really matched the 1-2 combination of Kelly and Fredrickson for post 22 tonight. Throw back to first, diving back is Aaron Roach. So glad you're with us. Here comes a pitch, and there's a stolen base attempt, and getting in safely is Aaron Roach. Roach really turned on the Jets there, and now the Hardhats trying to get that run back. They were up 6-2, now they're up 6-3, but there's a runner at second with nobody out. Here comes Philip Bentz now, working ahead in the count 1-2. Pitch to Bentz, Bentz chops it foul. Philip Bentz, he loves playing here at Joe Purds Field. He had that home run a year ago here, and he's just had a great night so far. Of course, the Hardhats will have a doubleheader coming your way tomorrow. There's ball 4. Philip Bentz reaches base. So Aaron Roach is at second. At first, it's Philip Bentz, and here comes Dawson Inhofer. Expect Inhofer to bunt, and he does bunt, and it falls in front of the catcher. Throw to first in time, but the Hardhats advance the runners. Inhofer with a very nifty sacrifice bunt. The Royals played that tight, but the ball did land, and it did the job as advancing to second and third were Roach and Bentz respectively. So after that 1-3 sacrifice put out, there are now 1 out. And here comes Wilson Kiefer, and Kiefer hits it foul, just barely foul, down the right field line. One thing that's a little unique about Joe Pert's field, there is a significant incline from between, or decline depending on how you look at it, from the infield towards the corners. I don't know if that's for drainage or if that's just the lay of the land here at Billings. Ball is hit hard by Kiefer. That should score a run, and it gets lost in the lights, it looks like, by the right fielder who didn't play it well, and that's going to clear the bases. A bases clearing 2 RBI triple for Wilson Kiefer makes it 8-3 Hardhats. What a great play by Wilson, and the right fielder for the Royals, Peyton Weskow, he just, I think, thought that ball was coming towards where he was positioned, and he wasn't even close to where it landed. I'm not sure it would have been handled by Peyton anyway, but that definitely gave the chance for a triple to Kiefer. Now Kiefer is picked off. Here comes a pickle play, and he's tagged out. That is going to be a 1, 2, 5, 3 pickle play to retire Wilson Kiefer, who had the 2-run triple to make it 8-3 moments earlier. So now the bases are empty with 2 outs as we go to the top of the order with Aiden Roberts coming to bat. Hardhats back up by 5, and it really feels good if you're a Hardhats fan. And there's Roberts with a base hit into the corner. Roberts flying around first base will easily reach second and then put on the brakes, and the Hardhats have just taken over here in the 5th inning.
Double by Roberts brings to the plate number 6.
Roberts with a double.
Carter Johnson
now enters scoring position for Carter Johnson, who has very comparable speed to Roberts. There's a low pitch outside for a ball. How about the Hardhats bouncing back? They're playing with that edge that Coach Torvey wants them to play with this year. Hardhats trying to get back to 500 if they get this victory. They'll be 4-4. Again, 3 of the 4 losses for the Hardhats this year have been in 1-run games. They're better than their record. That's what I'm trying to get across. There's a pitch. It's over for a strike. Over the course of a 3-month season with so many games, teams as good as the Hardhats go on streaks, they go on runs, they do really well. There's a throw back to second. It's not in time. Good job there by Carson Jenkins to throw back behind the runner. But Aiden Roberts, he's an unlikely candidate because of his cerebral instincts to be picked off any base. There's a pitch home, and that is going to be inside for another ball. Count goes to 3-1. Carter Johnson waits for the pitch, and that is going to be called a strike. And the count goes full. Carter Johnson, with a man at second with 2 outs, waits for the payoff pitch from Carson Jenkins, the starter for the Billings Royals. And there's a low pitch. Throw down to third is not going to get him. And Roberts able to steal third base. And for Johnson, he reaches on a walk. And that should be it for Carson Jenkins. It will be, as Jenkins is pulled after 4 2/3 innings of work. He will not be able to win this game. And he had a tough night, especially with the defense coming into play, and also with the wind impacting his ability to pitch inside. And it looks like Jenkins may have let out a little bit of frustration in the back of that Royals dugout from where I'm seated. Hardhats right now leading 8-3. But we're still just in the 5th inning. Don't go away. Hardhats are not taking their foot off the gas. You better believe that. They have runners at the corners. Johnson just drew a walk a moment ago. Roberts stole third. And now we'll see who the new pitcher is for the Billings Royals. Leave the relief pitcher, number 11. So we will see who that pitcher is.
Now batting, number 13, Ryan Nagabound.
Chase Tracy is the new pitcher out of the pen, sliding over from third base. Been a couple of adjustments in the infield. We'll try to reset that as best we can. And they've picked off a runner. Now here goes Johnson. He's going to cross home plate. A designed steal play. I love the play. It was brilliant. They knew if they could just get the throw towards Johnson, that Roberts would be able to come home and likely score. And in a 5-run game, you can take those kind of chances and take those kind of liberties. And the Hardhats now go up 9-3 as Roberts scores. And here's the kicker. They never got Carter Johnson retired. So that was an amazing play. And now here comes the pitch to whoever's filling in for Tate Crossway. We'll try to figure out who that is. Tate left, hobbled as he was running down the first base line. He was hunched over, needed some assistance. Let's hope he's okay. Hardhats playing a little short-handed, as they definitely are missing Wyatt Reeder, who was injured in Cheyenne in a collision, ironically enough, with Crossway. And Wyatt Reeder's injury happened with Wyatt hitting over 800 to start the year. Here comes the 0-2 pitch from Tracy. It's high. Throw down to third is in time to retire the side. So Carter Johnson is caught stealing on a 2-3 play at third base, or 2-5 put out at first base. But the Hardhats do manage to score 3 runs. Aaron Roach, Phillip Mitz, and Aiden Roberts all cross home plate in the top of the 5th inning, and the Hardhats are able to score 2 runs on 2 hits. There were no errors, and there was nobody left on base. Through 4.5 innings of play here in Billings, Montana, it's the Hardhats 9, the Billings Royals 3. This is Hardhats TV.
Leading off this inning for the Royals, pitcher number 11, Chase Tracy.
Here comes a pitch to Chase Tracy, and it goes right to the second baseman, Inhofer. Or rather, it looks like Negebauer's out there. Ryan Negebauer now playing second base, retires the leadoff man as he throws to first. And that'll be a 4-3 put out
Shortstop number 15, Cy Waldron.
on Chase Tracy. Cy Waldron, the batter now. Cy 1 for 2 with a run scored on a double back in the first inning in what feels like an eternity ago. Here comes a pitch, and it's outside. Cy Waldron, leading 2-0 in the count here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Hardhats up by half a dozen runs and 6 outs away from a victory. Check that, 8 outs away from a victory. Here comes a pitch from Roberts, and it's fouled painfully off the leg of Cy Waldron. Count goes to 2-1. Well, Rowan Fredrickson is making his second relief appearance today. He also pitched several innings on Wednesday in Gillette. And I have to say, Rowan is really winning this sportscaster over, to say the least. After a tough beginning down in Cheyenne, Wyoming on Sunday. And Rowan is trying to perhaps pick up the win because he came out in relief of Eli Kelly, who did not finish the requisite 4 innings to be the pitcher of record in this ballgame. Here comes the pitch. It's nailed by Waldron. It's hit deep. It's hit far. And it is off the wall. All the way to the warning track. And Cy Waldron hits a stand-up double to lead things off of Rowan Fredrickson. If the wind was not such a factor, that might have left the ballpark. That had home run capabilities attached to it. There's nothing the outfield could do to come up with that long ball into the power alley. This is definitely a hitter's park. Not only is the fence extremely high at about 10 feet high all the way across, but we'll get back to the dimensions in a moment. There's a pop-up, and Johnson makes the catch, tagging as the runner, Cy Waldron, and he tags up as Ryan Deneau flies out to center field. But back to the dimensions, it's 403 feet to the deepest part of left center, and then it gets even deeper than that. It's 398 to the deepest part of right center, 320 down the lines. This is definitely Joe Pertz Field, a park that's hard to exit. You've got to hit the ball a long ways. There's no such thing as an easy short porch or a short side of the field. And if you hit it to deep center, you've got to crush it. Ball is hit hard to center, and it hits it behind the sliding Carter Johnson and going all the way to the wall. Here comes Ethan Cheney. Cheney might have it inside the park home run. Here comes a throw to the plate, and Cheney will get it inside the park home run. Ethan Cheney pulling off an inside the Parker. Just when I was talking about how this is such a tough park to hit a home run in, how do you like those apples? The Billings Royals show that you can hit a home run here if you keep it inside the park. As Ethan Cheney circles the bases with an inside the park home run. Wow. And how about the timing? I was talking about how hard it was to hit a home run here. He hit it out of this place, and then he hits it inside the park home run. So, it is 9-5 now. As that inside the park home run scores Cy Waldron and Ethan Cheney, of course, the batter. And it's back to a 4-run game. Chopper goes up the middle. Kiefer throws to first in time to retire the side. But as Anthony Williams is retired 6-3, if you're scoring with us, the Billings Royals manage
Score is Rapid City 9.
to score 2 runs on 2 extra base hits. There were no errors, and there were no men left on base. And actually, I just realized something. They did give an error to Carter Johnson in center field based on how he dove and played that. So that is not an inside the park home run, even though for Ethan Cheney it has to feel like one anyway. But that will be an E8, and as a result, I think they're going to say that was an RBI, driving in Cy Waldron for Ethan Cheney, but having the ball get past him and go to the wall, that they're going to say was an error on Carter Johnson for the Hardhats. So the score is 9-5. In the bottom of the 5th inning against Rowan Fredrickson, there was 1 hit, there were 2 runs, there was 1 earned run, there was 1 error, and there was no man left on base. So it's 9-5. We now go to the top of the 6th inning with the Hardhats trying to get those runs back. And I just heard somebody in the dugout for post 22 say, let's get it back. Let's get those runs back. That's what the Hardhats have done throughout this ball game. If you're just joining us, they scored 5 runs, taking advantage of a trio of errors by the Billings Royals in the top of the 2nd inning to bounce back from falling behind 2-0 at the end of the 1st. The Hardhats have led ever since, and there's a hit by pitch on Ryan Negebauer, who is filling in for Tate Crossweight, who had to exit with a leg injury.
Now batting number 27, Alex Dietrich.
Yep.
Here comes Alex Dietrich. Alec 0 for 2 tonight. Check that. Dietrich 1 for 3 tonight with a base hit. Back in the 4th inning. Here comes a pitch. Throw down to first is not going to be worth the effort as Negebauer easily gets back to the bag. It's a 1-0 count. Some of the fans who came here, they've left because it's just windy and cold. Some Royals fans, I think, maybe thinking it's just not their night tonight. Hardhats trying to split this Saturday night doubleheader after losing a tough fast 80-minute ball game to the Billings Scarlets 2-1. We again apologize. Strike. Again apologize. We had technical issues impacting our ability to handle software and the connectivity. And I give Oliver, my son, credit. He helped us kind of work our way through what I'd kind of call a software connectivity block with our picture feed. And eventually we got on. We were not aided by the fact that we couldn't set up ahead of time because there was a video crew covering the Missoula Billings Scarlets game before our game came along. So by the time we set up to try to get connected, it was already time for first pitch. We're happy you're with us, and we've been happy to report we've had a smooth broadcast ever since we came on the air midway through the first game. We'll be with you tomorrow morning as we will come your way at 9:45, and the first pitch will be at 10 o'clock as the Hardhats try to earn a split with the Billings Scarlets tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. Then, after that game is over, after about a 20-30 minute gap, the Hardhats will finish out their 4 games road series here in Billings against the Missoula Mavericks. There's a foul ball out of play. Count goes to 2-2. With Alex Diedrich batting here in the top of the 6th inning with Negebauer on base due to a hit by pitch issued by Chase Tracy, who is in relief for Carter Jenkins. Jenkins went 4 2/3 inning. Chase Tracy pitching pretty well out of the pen for the Royals. And we've got a stoppage in play. The ball got out of the ball bag for the umpire. Here comes the 2-2 pitch to Alex Diedrich, and that's a swing and a miss. Strike 3. That's the first strikeout of the night for Tracy. Now coming up, Hayden Hollick. Hayden's had a very good night tonight. He's scored twice back in the 2nd and 3rd inning. He's 1 for 2. We have time called by the home plate umpire. There's no place like the Magic City of Billings, Montana. I'm not sure how Billings became the Magic City. I don't think this is where David Copperfield was born. But if you're wondering, somebody famous from Billings, Montana, how about Brent Musburger, the television sports broadcasting legend, the host of the NFL Today on CBS, and someone who had a great career with ABC and ESPN for so long, and CBS. Brent Musburger's hometown is right here in Billings. There's a throw down to second, and the ball bounces off the runner into the outfield, and taking an extra bag is Ryan Negebauer. So Negebauer gets a stolen base, then takes third as the ball bounces off his body on the slide. And Kelvin Torvey talks to him, and that's, well, I'll tell you, how do you like to get hit twice in the same inning? Negebauer was hit by a pitch, and now he gets plunked by a throw down to second. He's going to be waking up with some bruises in the morning. And yes, he will stay at a Holiday Inn Express tonight. Count is 3-0 to Hayden Hollick. Here comes the pitch from Chase Tracy, and it is over for a strike. Count now 3-1. Hardhats leading 9-5. They've out-hit the Royals 9-4. Both teams have committed an uncharacteristic 3 errors apiece. Grounder to first, catcher, pitcher covering, and the run scores. So there's an RBI for Hayden Hollick. The only thing Hayden hadn't done tonight really was drive in a run, but that just changes with there, as there is a 4-1, a 3-1 put out for the second out of the inning, and the Hardhats now have scored in 4 of the last 5 innings of this game, and they have a 10-5 lead. getting back one of those 2 runs that they gave up in the bottom of the 5th inning. And now the Hardhats back to a very comfortable margin of 5 runs in their favor with a 1-1 count to Aaron Roach with 2 down and nobody on. There's a pitch from Tracy over for a strike. Hardhats 6 outs away with a 5-run lead from earning a split tonight in this doubleheader. There's a pitch that flies way over the catcher and the umpire. Usually you have to watch that movie with Kevin Costner and Susan Sarandon to find a pitch that high over home plate from Nuke LaLoosh. That's Tim Robbins' character, if you remember. Bounce pitch outside, it's a ball there. Philip Bentz on deck for the Hardhats. He's got his catcher's gear on. Ball pops its way down the right field line, and it's squeezed for out number 3. So the Hardhats score a run off of a hit by pitch, a stolen base, and then the ball bounces off of Negebauer on the slide, and then a ground out, RBI ground out by Hayden Hollick makes it 10-5 in favor of the Hardhats as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. And now Jaden Moreno emerges from the bullpen and starts throwing some heat. And it looks like we're going to have a...
30's on the mound.
So Jaden Moreno is out there. This is not a save situation for Moreno. Fredrickson clearly positioned to get his first win as a Hardhat here, coming in before starter Eli Kelly was able to go 4 innings as required to qualify for the win. So Fredrickson set up for the win. This is not a save situation for Moreno. Moreno got loose quite a while ago when it was looking a little scary in a 6-3 ball game with 2 on and nobody out, but Rowan was able to limit the damage in that sequence to just 1 run and keep it a close game, a solid lead for the Hardhats. And here, instead of 6-2, it went to 6-3, but no closer. And the Hardhats have led by 3 runs or more ever since the 2nd inning. To recap the
Leading off this inning,
top of the 6th inning, the Hardhats scored 1 run. There were no hits, there were no errors, and there were no men left on base. The Hardhats now have unofficially hit double figures offensively for the 4th time, I think the 3rd time this season. They got double figures in over 10 runs or more in game 2 against Sheridan. They hit over 10 runs in the win over Cheyenne in game 2 of the doubleheader. And the Hardhats are now hit double figures, taking a 10-5 lead over the Billings Royals here in the 6th inning. Camden Wilson will lead things off for the Billings Royals. He hits it back to the pitcher. Moreno's got it. Flips to Dietrich for out number 1. So that's a 1-3 ground out if you're scoring with us. Mike Fell with you, filling in for Oliver Fell. Oliver, the voice of Hardhats TV for a 2nd consecutive year, makes his Hardhats TV debut live from Pete Wayne Field on Tuesday night. Should be a great crowd, a great environment. Those 2 Legion programs in Rapid City did not meet last year. They will play Tuesday night and then 2 weeks from Thursday, and I understand I'll have that game as Oliver is going to be able to take a bit of a break around Memorial Day time. Hardhats 10, Royals 5, 1-0 count. and it sails inside. Now the count goes even. Now batting, it's Peyton Wasco. Comes the pitch to Peyton. That's over for a strike. If the Hardhats can get this victory, it's going to feel really good because the Hardhats last year went 1-3 when they came to Billings, and they went 0-3 against the Billings teams, the Royals and the Scarlets. They went 0-2 against the Royals last year. Ball is lifted into the corner, and maybe it's out of play. It is. As it bounces over the fence, it was in foul territory, but it was too far for the outfielders. Even the blistering speed of Wilson Kiefer could not chase that one down. The wind has really died down, I'm happy to say. The wind was absolutely abominable to deal with. I've literally had to put two hands on the laptop in the first game and wasn't able to keep score. There's a grounder to Negebauer. He boots it. That's the fourth error of the ball game. Ryan Negebauer commits an error, and that puts Waskow on base. Hardhats thankfully up by 5. They're 5 runs away from getting this win. And here comes Nick Martin, the number 8 hitter for the Billings Royals. Martin facing Jaden Moreno. Moreno should have had 2 up, 2 down there, but rare error by the middle infielder for the Hardhats. Ball is drifted foul into the Hardhats bullpen down the right field line. Moreno quickly works ahead of Nick Martin. Jaden Moreno looks in for his sign. Here comes the pitch, and it is outside for a ball. Count now goes to 1-1. Jaden Moreno trying to shut the door here in the 6th. 1 on, 1 out. And the umpire calls time before Moreno fires his pitch. What a thing. I don't know who the gentleman was, but there was such a nice man. Sat next to me for a few innings. He went and got me a water and Reese's peanut butter cup, and just a real gentleman. And in the first game, I made a mistake as to announcing who was at second base for the Scarlets, and somebody called me something that I'm not allowed to repeat on a broadcast. There's a pitch inside, and it's a hit by pitch, and Nick Martin will now go down to first base.
Martin wears one.
And I'm not sure that wasn't affected by the wind. We've had a lot of hit by pitches, but it hasn't been because of anything nasty, vengeful, or insidious. It's simply been the wind has really pushed a lot of off-speed pitches into these batters on the same right-handed hitter's side of the batter's box tonight, where the wind is blowing directly in. 2 on now with 1 out. Jaden Moreno looks back at the runner at second, fires a pitch over for strike 1. Alex Brown, a.k.a. Brownie, who committed a pair of errors back in a 5-run second inning for Post 22, can try to get his team back in this ball game here, with the score being 10-5 in favor of Post 22. Moreno absolutely deals a second strike against Brown. Moreno with 2 on and 1 out, trying to get a strikeout here. He does not want to face Waldron or Deneau, the 2 and 3 hitters for Billings that are really, really good. This is the number 9 hitter. There's 1 out. If you're Jaden Moreno, you would love to keep Cy Waldron and Ryan Deneau in the on-deck circle. That's for sure. Of course, the double play is a consideration here as well. Here comes the 1-2 pitch, and that's a swing and a miss, strike 3 as Brown goes down. And Jaden Moreno picks up his first strikeout of this ball game, and now the Hardhats are 1 out away from getting out of this inning. And here comes Chase Tracy.
Chase Tracy.
Tracy, the third baseman, as well as the relief pitcher, who's pitched pretty well. Here's a throwback to second, and getting back safely is Peyton Wasco. Wasco is at second. Nick Martin's at first. 2 outs. Hardhats up by 5. 10-5. Jaden Moreno looks in to Philip Bentz for the sign. Pitch to Tracy is outside for ball 1. Again, key moment here is the fact that on deck is Cy Waldron, who's 2 for 3 tonight, as well as Ryan Deneau, who was 1 for 2 and gave a pitch a long ride. Here's a dribbler down to Kiefer, throw to second for the force, and that retires the Cy. A 6-4 putout, retiring Nick Martin, closes the book on the 6th inning for the Billings Royals, who failed to score despite getting 2 men on via the error and a hit by pitch. There were no hits. There was 1 error. There were 2 left on base. And we now go to the 7th inning with the Hardhats holding a 10-5 lead over the Royals of Billings, Montana. So here we go. It's looking good for the Hardhats. The Hardhats, what has really impressed me the most so far has been the resiliency of this ball club. Last year, if the Hardhats lost the first game of a doubleheader, they may get swept. We saw that happen early in the season down in Cheyenne last year when the Hardhats went 0-3 down in Cheyenne. This year, they lost the first game in heartbreaking fashion, but then came back and won big 11-6 over Cheyenne in game 2. Now here we are a weekend later, and the Hardhats lost a tough 2-1 game to the Scarlets earlier tonight, and they're now up, just like they were at Cheyenne, by 5 runs in the second game of the doubleheader, albeit against a different opponent, the Billings Royals, but still a quality Billings powerhouse team. So a lot to smile about. This Hardhats team also lost a 1-run game opening night and then blew the doors off of Sheridan in game 2 of a 3-game series in which they would win at Fitzgerald Stadium. So Hardhats, they have that ability to fight when they get down, and you're not going to sweep these guys. There's a grounder, and it's finally picked up just in the nick of time by the pitcher, who has his foot on the bag. And the leadoff man is retired by Chase Tracy, who gets a rare U1 if you're scoring with us.
Now batting.
You don't see that very often.
Dawson Inhofer.
Now here comes Dawson Inhofer. Dawson waits for the pitch, puts on a bunt. It's a good one. It's bobbled by the catcher, and that's going to be an infield hit for Dawson Inhofer on a bunt. That'll bring up Wilson Kiefer. Kiefer's had a good game, good night. Kiefer 2 for 2, including a triple and 3 RBIs for the Hardhats. This has been perhaps the best game of Wilson Kiefer's career, and he may very well add to it in this at-bat here in the top of the 7th with the Hardhats leading 10-5. Here comes a pitch from Tracy. It's fouled back to the screen. Hardhats last year went 0-2 against the Billings Royals. Chance to go 1-0 against them. And their final trip to Billings ever, as Legion Baseball in Montana is going away after this season. There's a pitch down to second, And stealing second base is Dawson Inhofer. So I talked to Coach Torvey a couple times, and here in Montana, these Legion programs as they stand, sadly, are not going to be available to be played. And this is the last trip to Billings for the Hardhats. And oh, okay. It's been that way the whole time. I want to apologize. I guess we've been filming, of course, through the fence throughout our broadcast, and it's pointed out that there was some focus being off a little bit. But the focus goes to the fence, and there's nothing I could do about that. Hate to say it. Thankfully, you can see what's going on behind the screen, but anyway. Wish I could adjust the focus differently, but not able to do it. And it's a thick fence here in Billings. Counts now 2-2. Wilson Kiefer batting with Dawson Inhofer at second. Wind picking up again now. And there's a swing and a miss, and Wilson goes down for the first time tonight.
Next up for the Hardhats, number 10, Roberts.
It's the second strikeout of the ball game for Chase Tracy, and now here comes Aiden Roberts. Roberts tonight, 1 for 2, reached 1 for 3, reached on an error, scored twice in this ball game. The Hardhats leading 10-5. And now the umpire calls time. This game's pace much slower than the lightning quick pitcher's duel that we had in the first game tonight that was only 80 minutes long. Ball is hit well past the light pole down the line and right by Roberts. Roberts is starting to show signs that he's getting power in his swing. It's intriguing to watch Roberts, who was in his second year as a Hardhat, starting to develop a little bit more power to his swing, to his game. Here comes the 1-2 pitch from Tracy to Roberts here in the top of the 7th inning. And the ball is hit towards the shortstop. Throw to first is in time to retire the side. So, the Hardhats fail to score. They do record a hit. There were no errors. And there was one man left on base. We go to the bottom of the 7th inning. The Hardhats are 3 outs away from earning a split tonight and beating the Billings Royals in their last ever meeting with the Royals here in Billings. Hardhats are 3 outs away from getting to 4-4 on the season. And we'll be able to say if they get these 3 outs with a 5-run lead that no one has swept them this year in a doubleheader. Hardhats trying for the 3rd time, as we've mentioned a couple of times tonight, to bounce back from losing the first game of a doubleheader to earn a split. Coming up to bat for the Billings Royals will be the heart of the order. Cy Waldron, Brian Deneau, and Ethan Cheney. The good news for the Hardhats is they touch hats on the pitcher's mound, as is the tradition, is that the Hardhats can get this win going against the heart of the order, where it's going to take more than 2 or 3 runs for the heart of this Royals team to be able to make a difference. This is where a 5-run lead going into the 7th is so big. Here comes the pitch from Moreno. It's outside and quickly. Cy Waldron moves ahead 2-0. Cy Waldron fouls a pitch off, now lifts one to right field. It's playable, and it's caught for out number 1 by Aaron Roach in right field.
Play up right field brings to the plate number 21, Carson Jenkins.
Now here comes Carter Jenkins. He's going to hit in place of Ryan Deneau. Jenkins pitched into the 5th inning tonight, pitched pretty well, but the Hardhats did get to him, and 3 errors behind him didn't help his cause too much. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. Ball is hit high again to Roach in right. He's got it. Makes the catch. Hardly had to move, and now the Hardhats are an out away from beating the Billings Royals. Ethan Cheney coming up to bat. Ethan had that what appeared to be inside the park home run would later be scored a double in an error, but nonetheless, what a moment that was for Ethan Cheney. A moment he'll never forget at Joe Pertzfield. Wind really picking up again, fence flapping around. Here comes the next pitch, and Cheney hits it hard, and that's going to drop. That'll be another hit for Ethan Cheney. So with 2 outs, Ethan Cheney will not be the last out of this ball game, as Anthony Williams comes to the plate after that 2-out single from Ethan Cheney. Jaden Moreno trying to nail down the victory. It won't count as a save, but it sure will feel good if he can get it. Moreno locks in, throws his first pitch outside for ball 1. Moreno looks back at Cheney at first, nods, likes his sign, delivers. Ball fouled away for a strike. Jaden Moreno 2 strikes away from the Hardhats earning a split and coming into tomorrow morning's doubleheader at 4-4. There's a pitch, throw back to first, and it's not in time. Cheney not able to get off first base that far. Count now 2-1. Anthony Williams, nickname is Ant-Man. Here comes the pitch from Moreno. And that pitch is outside for a ball. Count now goes to 3-1. Royals trying to just stay alive. Here comes another pitch. That's ball 4, and now there are 2 on with 2 out in a 10-5 ball game. As the Ant-Man, Anthony Williams, draws a walk, and now Phillip Bentz comes out, shows his leadership, and makes Moreno smile and laugh. And I think he just needed to. The catcher, Phillip Bentz, recognized that what Moreno needed was some loosening up. It's a 5-run ball game. You're moving into the middle to bottom part of the order as you move along here with 2 outs. Nothing to panic about. First pitch is a ball for Moreno. Camden Wilson, the batter. Wilson 0 for 2 with a walk tonight. Next pitch is high, and Moreno, the one thing that's going on right now is Moreno is not, he's throwing hard, but he's not locating the pitches in the strike zone. He just keeps coming in high. There's a pitch, and that's too low. So now Moreno suddenly in danger of loading the bases with All of this happening with 2 outs after a pair of flyouts to Aaron Roach in right field. Fires a 3-0 pitch over that certainly was being taken all the way by Camden Wilson. Count now 3-1. And there's ball 4, and now the bases are loaded. They're filled with Royals. And I don't think the Hardhats really know what to do here. They're just going to come out with a pitching visit because, quite candidly, that Hardhats were down to their last out in a 5-run ball game. They didn't think they had to even think about a bullpen appearance. So now they'll have a chat with the pitching coach and the infielders, and coming up to bat with the bases loaded will be Peyton Waskow, and he is oh for 1 tonight with a walk. He reached on an error. So now we're going to the bottom of the order, but the tying run is in the on-deck circle in a 10-5 game. This is a long conference, and Moreno, he just, I really don't know what happened. It's like his pitches just stopped going down when he had this game within position to close it out. So a long conference ensues after the bases get loaded. Billings Royals trying to pull off the ultimate miracle comeback. Infielders get back to their positions. Dietrich's at first. Negebauer's at second. Kiefer's at short. Roberts is at third, and Benz is behind the plate. First pitch is over for a strike. That's encouraging to Waskow. Second pitch is a strike, a swing and a miss. And now Jaden Moreno is a strike away from nailing down this victory over Billings Royals. Here comes the pitch. He kicks and fires, and that is over for strike 3, and the game is over. The Hardhats win 10-5 over the Billings Royals, raise their record to 4-4, and earn a well-deserved round of applause from these great Hardhat fans. And there's a lot of smiles from Coach Torvey and the staff. And oh, this is a special third time in as many weekends in which the Hardhats bounce back from a tough 1-run loss in the first half of a doubleheader and then come back and win big and make a statement to get a split in the second half of a twin bill. The Hardhats win 10-5. They out-hit the Billings Royals 10-6, and the Hardhats, well, it wasn't pretty. They committed 4 runs, but so did the Billings Royals. And when it's all said and done at Joe Pertz Field, the Hardhats are 1-1, and tomorrow they will be back here at this ballpark to take on the Scarlets, where they'll try to get payback for that 2-1 loss to the Billings Scarlets earlier this evening. And then they will take on the Missoula Mavericks in a neutral field ball game in the second game of the doubleheader tomorrow. Well, we thank all of you for watching. This is one of our largest audiences we've had so far this year on Hardhats TV. And again, thank you for your patience. We know that we had a rocky first half of the first game due to circumstances that were just very frustrating, but we got things back on. I hope you enjoyed the second half of the first game. And then the second game, well, that is how it should be. Brought you the whole game in its entirety without interruption, and we understand there was some issue with the chain link fence that we're filming through, being a bit of a distraction at times with the focus on our camera, but there's just no way around that for us with the equipment we have, so that's what we've got. So here we go. The Hardhats earn a split tonight. They lose to the Scarlets 2-1 in game 1, but then beat the Billings Royals by a score of 10-5 in the second game. The winning pitcher is Rowan Fredrickson for the Hardhats. Losing pitcher was Carter Jenkins for the Billings Royals. My name is Mike Fell. Thank you for watching and spending your Saturday evening with us. Have a great rest of your Saturday night. And tomorrow, join us at 9:45 as I will bring you the doubleheader as I fill in for my son Oliver, who will be on the call Tuesday night at Peatleen Field. The Hardhats will take on the Billings Scarlets tomorrow. First pitch set for 10 a.m. Go to early mass, early church if you can do that. And we'll be talking to you bright and early at 10 o'clock. And then after that game, we will bring you the Hardhats and the Missoula Mavericks in Game 2 of tomorrow's doubleheader and Game 4 of our 4-game road trip here at Joe Pertz Field in Billings, Montana. The final score of Game 2 tonight, the Hardhats win 10-5 over the Billings Royals. Have a great evening. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning. Good night from Billings, Montana.